as an Aussie team come from 200 or more down on the first innings to come back and win out of 82 different examples.
Yes, that's a big ask indeed. And normally it's hard to make up a deficit of 100. Never mind 200. 200 is a big ask.
Yeah.
Especially in a batting side that is a little bit low on confidence and a few guys needing runs.
Cummins going to have a roll here from the Michael Long centre end of the ground. Incredibly, as we touched on, Jakes here, a no ball for 3 behind square in the previous over. Comes around the wicket here. Taskin plays away from the body, picks out Weatherald, collects, throws at the stumps, misses. And they get through for a sharp single. And the head was coming in from short leg, trying to catch it behind the stumps, and the Bangladeshi batsmen awake to it. And that's something they've done so well throughout the innings, is tick the strike over. And all of a sudden, another partnership beyond 25 for Bangladesh.
That's smart running, but I'm not sure there was a single there for Weatherald. Just a little bit on his heels, wasn't awake to it. And it was a bit of hit and run from Bangladesh, and that opportunity to have 6 balls at the number 10 has gone out the window on the first ball.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it very often. He hasn't exposed them at all, and that was the opportunity.
Neddy's back on strike. Cummins on his way in, bowls to him now, and he just dead bats the ball out on the offside and turns down the opportunity for the single. The field well spread. Just a little reminder, by the way, if you're on Sport Digital across the country or streaming us through ABC Listen on the ABC Sports stream, you'll need to flick across to the ABC Cricket button. Look out for that red cricket ball in the next 3 minutes to be able to continue to hear the cricket throughout. If you're in any of those markets, you're off the footy coverage, both the AFL and the NRL. Starts in about 3 minutes from now, so we'll give you another reminder before we get there. The cricket ball button is what you're looking for on the Listen app. Betty gets a short one. He cracks away a cut shot. There's protection back at deep backward square. Line fields. Single again denied. Meddy on 51. Taskin on 6. The lead is 199.
Again, Cummins is trying to roll his fingers down the ball. He's trying everything to try and get this breakthrough. Cutters, slower ball bounces. Just trying to get something out of this surface to create an opportunity for Australia. They know how desperate things are getting now.
One slip in the gully. Field spread apart from that. Cummins sticks one in short, and Hassan Miraz just lets it pass through. Sean Meddy, by the way, I mentioned he's 28 years of age, third-rated all-rounder in world cricket at the moment. He's one of only 2 players in Bangladesh Test history with 2,000 runs and 200 Test wickets. And Shakib Al Hassan, who is probably the most well-known Bangladeshi cricketer, I think, in the nation's Test history, is the only other to have done it.
It's a good record, isn't it? It's a lot of wickets. And he's been more than capable with the bat here, hasn't he?
Still 2 balls to go in the over. The Aussies almost 90 minutes in the sun today, continuing on. 8 down. An uppercut here from Mehdi Hassan Miraz as he dabs it down to fine leg, and down to third man, and Starkfield's on the boundary. So a single taken, and that is the 200. So Bangladesh lead by 200 runs. And the Aussies are on the wrong side of history now. They'll need to do something. They have only done 3 times in their Test history to win from this point.
So you're saying there's a chance?
3 of 82. It's
getting slimmer by the hour, isn't it? At the minute.
Well, there was, what do we say? There was 9 from 150 onwards. So they've eliminated 6 over the last 90 minutes. Bangladesh have gone past that.
They're running out of numbers, Corbin.
8 for 398 Bangladesh. A lead of 200 on the first innings. Taskin on strike. Oh, he's jammed up. Ball bobbles up just over the head of Travis Head. That short leg. And Taskin survives on 6. It's a dot ball to end the over. And again, Bangladesh protect him. So Taskin only had to face the 1 ball. And Mehdi Hassan Miraz on 52. Taskin on 6. The lead 200 for Bangladesh. 8 for 398. All right, if you're on Sport Digital, you're off to the footy. If you're on the sports stream on the ABC Listen app, You're off to Roy and HG. If you want to keep listening to the cricket, ABC Listen, the app is the place to find it. Look out for the red cricket ball button.
Every community has stories worth sharing. ABC Your Say is your chance to join the conversation. Tell us what's on your mind. Visit abc.net.au/yoursay.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Pitches up, hits the bat, how is that out? It's LBW!
Grandstand cricket.
12 months, 20 Test matches, New Zealand at home over summer, the 3 most iconic overseas tours, the 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG.
Driving through the covers and crunching it away to the boundary.
And it starts now with Australia versus Bangladesh.
Pitch out the leg before, finger goes up and Cummins strikes.
Listen to every ball live from the top end. On ABC Listen, just look for the cricket button.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
Boy, we're going to have some fun.
The AFL in 2026 on ABC Sport.
And the silence sound. Here we go. Listen to the roar. It is showtime.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Right to the goal line. Jamie Elliott, the man who gravity forgot.
That's why we love AFL football.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
From 45 and rise it all the way home.
An ambitious effort. Unbelievable.
The left foot is a goal.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Rosen kicks on goal. The prancing pony.
What a goal.
He's off and running.
From 45 to get the party started.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's bouncing. It's through. Bailey Smith. He'll want the cameras on him right now.
Light camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
Spins around and buries it.
Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb.
40 metres out. Snaps towards goal. What a beautiful finish.
Bacon goal square, goes for glory.
He eyes the goals and sends it home.
Don't get better than this.
100% pure footy. Every minute of every match, all season long.
Gathers, snaps, goal.
It's just football at its best.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Kick on goal. Dribbles it through.
What about that? Took them all on and said, I'll have some of this.
Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier.
Watson snaps. Oh, Watson puts it through. And the Wizard arrives precisely on time. He's built for the big stage. On his left boot. His kick is good.
AFL.
Inside 50, off a step, turns and goes bang. And snap.
And goal.
There's some bravery through the middle of the ground.
How good is that? What a goal. He wastes no time. He whacks it through for another. It doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment. Hands it to Charlie Cameron. He can walk it in. Show him your tail lights, Charlie.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
Runs the 50 out. What a way to finish.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's a Saturday of celebration for the Tigers as they see off 2 club greats at the MCG. Dion Prestia and Nathan Broad, both 3-time premiership players, play their final games in yellow and black against the Saints, who need a win to keep their season alive. St Kilda's hopes are slim, but they are still mathematically a chance of making the wildcard finals. But they need everything to break their way, and it starts with a W today at the MCG. Great to have your company here on ABC Sport. Some blue sky above at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and the crowd is slowly filling up for the early slot on a Saturday afternoon. 2 games here today, 3 in Melbourne, 5 in total on a jam-packed Saturday of footy, and that's not to mention the women's games that are on today as well, with 3 games as round 1 in the AFLW continues. The cricket on, of course, as well, so we've got plenty to keep you across throughout the course of the afternoon. Here on ABC Sport, Joel Peterson is my name. Marnie Vinyl to join us on the boundary very shortly as well. Calling the action alongside me is Andrew Mays. Hello, Maisie.
Hello, Joel. Looking forward to this afternoon. I mean, I think everyone's sort of just accepted that St Kilda will probably win their last 2 games, but obviously with the injury crisis that they had last week, especially early in that game against Carlton, and the way Richmond really have improved over the last, I think, sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and last week they were really good in Adelaide with it just not getting across the line. I think this is a fair dinkum danger game for the Saints this afternoon, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the young Tigers have got in store for us and also what the Saints can muster too.
Yes, yeah, it feels a little bit banana peely for St Kilda today at the MCG. They have won 6 in a row against Richmond, though, those by 36 points on average, and the most recent of those games was won by 36 points when they met in round 10 at Docklands. Our expert on ABC Sport this afternoon, riding solo, doing double duty today. It's a big day for the Essendon Premiership player, Adam Ramanauskas. Rama, good to see you.
Good afternoon to all. Yes, riding solo. Bally, who's usually here, I'm not sure where he is this afternoon.
He's not on the trip up to the top end too, is he?
Oh, possibly. Could be anywhere. So
double pay then, I assume, Rama?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, no doubt about that. I'll be back here tonight as well for Collingwood and Hawthorn. So big day, but look, it's always important how you exit your champions and your premiership players, and I think we're gonna speak with Tim Livingston shortly about how Richmond have gone about that. But you know, Dion Prestia came across from Gold Coast, 3-time premiership player, best and fairest winner here. Nathan Broad, you know, it took him, I think, 78 games to win his 3 premierships. So an extraordinary start to his career. But you know, when you're turning the page on champions of your football club, it's probably what legacy one they leave, obviously. But then what's next? What comes next? Who's the players that are going to pick up the slack now, and how they're going to go about it? Richmond have clearly got a youngish list. But I think with these 2 exiting, that leaves, I think, only 5 premiership players. I think it's something.
Yeah.
It's getting low now. It's getting low. So the Saints, on the other hand, it just feels like last week was almost the end of their season. Just with everything that happened, the way Carlton easily accounted for them in the end. So I'm fascinated to see the attitude that these St Kilda players come out with today, because, as you said, Joel, they've been able to account for Richmond quite easily on the previous occasions. But today could be slightly different, I think.
Yep. It's interesting you say that, Rama, because the feeling definitely almost around the footy public is that last week was the end of the season. Yeah. But Carlton have got Fremantle in their last game. Can't see them winning that. And they've got the Bulldogs. And you don't quite know what they're going to produce tomorrow. So they're still very much in this season.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's got to be the message from Ross Lyon. It's like, hey, guys, we're still a live chance here. Now, okay, Carlton are playing really well. Bontempelli's obviously are not playing this week, so that makes that task a little bit easier. Well, easier is probably not the right word, but I'm on watch for St Kilda attitude early in this game.
Yep. It's especially because after the fact that their best player and their talisman isn't going to be out there could be a degree of, you know, slight demoralisation about the fact that, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do it without this guy.
Yeah. And that's I think the case for most clubs at some point through a season where your very best player is not available or not playing well. But if you look down the list of the St Kilda players, so Hasty comes in the team, Windhager's had a good year, Darcy Wilson's had a good year, Mitch Owens has probably had to play taller than he needs to in this team for a lot of the year. Brad Hill's had a really good year. Max Hall's had a terrific year. Hugo Garcia's had a terrific year. So those guys, it's sort of, I'm a believer when your best player goes out of the team, it's not one player that can replace him. It's got to be by committee. So those guys that I just mentioned, well, they need to pick up their performance.
We will talk to Tim Livingston, Richmond's EGM of footy performance, very shortly. You mentioned Dion Prestia exiting the club during the week. It happened in interesting circumstances where the club announced his retirement via a media release and a statement, used the word retirement. He then went on Melbourne radio in the afternoon and basically as a retirement interview and then said, well, I don't know about retiring, and said, I didn't use use the R word in what I said. I mean, you've been at the forefront of these kind of discussions from a player management perspective. How do you think that would have played out?
Well, look, I think Richmond clearly wanted to do the right thing and honour Dion and Nathan Broad with giving them a chance to speak to teammates, to fans, members and the like. Now, if Dion wants to play on again, that's no dramas. But I think maybe that should have been mentioned earlier in the day, I think, just to make it a lot more cleaner, because it did. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise when he said that. So, we'll ask Tim Livingston that question when we speak with him. So, is there another club out there for Dion Prestia? Oh, I don't know. I can't see. He's probably not playing at a level that you go, yeah, we need to have him. And like, is he a super leader or is he going to be a coach, or how's that going to look? So, look, I'm sure clubs will ask the question. Which ones? I'm not sure.
I'll throw a hypothetical at you just for fun. If Tasmania were coming into the comp next year, would it be good for down there?
Probably. And then, could then transition into a development coach, sort of. I think that structure would work. So, just on Tasmania, the importance of the initial couple of years and the quality older players that they get is critical to the start-up, because it sets the tone, it sets the culture for the football club early. Now, you look at GWS and Gold Coast as the most recent examples. Well, GWS got that right with the older players they brought in initially. They were standard setters, culture setters, and they've been relatively successful in their short lifespan.
Yep, and of course, Dion Prestia was part of it all. The Gold Coast Suns in their early stages, so it's a little bit of irony there. It is sun shining here at the MCG, crowd filling up. Richmond and St Kilda on ABC Sport. We mentioned we will chat to Tim Livingston from the Tigers about all things happening down at Tigerland at the moment. We can do that now as we check in with Marnie Vinyl. Marnie.
Thanks, Joel. I'm just down here with the Executive General Manager of Football Performance, Tim Livingston. Pretty emotional day, this one. I was on my way up to the boundary and I ran into a Richmond fan who was already almost in tears. I think the club farewelling Dion Prestia and Nathan Broad, it's a lot in that.
There is a lot in that. They've been amazing servants for this footy club and are loved, obviously, by those that play with them, and the staff that work with them. But obviously, the Tiger Army will miss them dearly. But the other one is Lynchy as well, playing 250. So there's a lot going on today.
A lot indeed. I'm very excited for the Richmond crowd that they get all of this. Were you a little bit surprised when Dion Prestia said he's not going to use the R word? He is leaving the door ajar potentially to other clubs.
No, not really. He's got to leave opportunities open for where the next phase of his career goes, and both Broady and Dion are capable of being coaches beyond their playing careers. So there might be something that opens up for them. But what I do know is they're retiring today from the Richmond Footy Club, and all we're concerned about is thanking them and showing some appreciation for everything they've done.
Someone who's not leaving the Richmond Footy Club is Lynchy. He's staying around for 2027. Can you just talk us through that?
Well, look, he's just so important to our football team, and particularly to our young forwards. It's the youngest line we've got, and when he plays, it functions so much better. His leadership's so important. Obviously, he still delivers and attracts a defensive crowd around him every time he plays. But for Harry Armstrong, Tom Sims, Jonty Fall, as they're growing through the game, to have Tom Lynch, the more we can have Tom Lynch around them, the better they'll be. But that's not taking away from the fact that he's still playing some great footy, and we're a better team when he's in it.
Talking about your list, I have to ask, how's the chase for Zach Butters going?
Oh, well, I'm not going to talk about that. But, I've got to be respectful. He's a Port Adelaide player, and any player in the mix to be traded has got to be treated accordingly. So, as a list management team, we'll make those decisions at season's end and see what comes up. We've also got a good draft hand and a really quality draft ahead of us to look at. So we've got to make a really balanced decision about all those options around us.
I also have to ask, this is not Richmond's only game today. The W also starts. They play Collingwood tonight. There's been a bit of an overhaul in the W program. Can you give us any kind of insight in what we can expect from the Tigers this year?
Well, what I do know is the team's so excited about their first game at Icon, and a lot of us will be going over there to cheer them on. And to Jared and Jane and the team, it's a new look, it's a new way of playing that you'll see on display tonight, and they're really excited about what they can bring.
Hopefully next year we can see double headers when they're both playing on the same day. But I'll send you up to the box. Joel Peterson, I think, has some questions for you.
All right, Livo, it's your former favourite all-time student, Adam Ramanauskas here. Just back on Nathan Broad and Dion Prestia, how tricky is it to exit champions of the football club, premiership players, when there still is a bit of a want for those guys to play potentially?
Well, Brody sort of made this indication a couple of years ago, and him and the family will be heading back to WA regardless. So, you know, Brody's genuinely in my head, or in his head, I shouldn't say my head, he's retired, and it'd be something strange to come up, but that's the conversations with him, so it was an easy decision and was always going to happen. And Dion, as the years gone on, he'd come to the realisation that it's time to move on. And the thing with what makes Dion and Brody, both of them, so good, Rammer, is just how they go about it, how much they love the game, and how much they're so professional in their preparation, recovery, and they just love the team environment. So it's so hard to exit it. All ex-footballers know that, and these guys are probably the epitome of what's made us a great team over the last decade.
So, obviously with Tasmania coming in the near future, losing experience now is tricky, but the levers that you can use, obviously draft, trade, free agency, etc. What's the most important aspect of that for Richmond over the next couple of years? Is it getting some more experienced players coming in a trade, or is it continuing to go to the draft?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of both, Rammer. We've got to have an eye on the future, and Blair and our list management committee, we're looking at, well, how do we get Richmond back to where it needs to be really quickly? Now, you've seen a deliberate approach to the draft over the last couple of seasons, and a lot of those players are on show today, and some of them are still to play, which is really exciting for us. So that's what, I think there's an element of, we know we've got to get gains into those boys and get them playing together as a team. And then there might be that time when, the trade becomes significant, trade time becomes significant to bring some experience along to support that. So when you pull that lever is the challenge.
Off-season change is always inevitable in any football club. Adam Uze is coming finishing his third season. What does he need as a coach underneath him? Obviously, coaches, assistant coaches move around through an off season. Is there something that you guys are going to be targeting in that coaching department?
Well, we've obviously been reviewing that, and we're always reviewing everything in footy, I suppose, but particularly in our coaching group and the best fit. And we've had good discussions with all our current coaches, who are all. I think most of the assistants today have all coached their own team at the second tier level. They've got great experience across the game. We've got some wonderful development coaches in Luke Bruce and Taylor DeRay, Jack Madgton coming through, Jack Zeeble as well. So we think we've got a really talented group, Rammer. What we'll look at is, have we got the right roles? Do we need to move that around? And we'll figure that out and make those decisions over the post-season.
Tim Livingston from the Tigers with us on ABC Sport. Tim, you mentioned that the balance between drafting and free agency. There's been some reports around that potentially your club interested in providing a little bit of ruck support to Toby Nankervis in the form of Kieran Briggs from the Giants. Is that an area of need where you can maybe target a more experienced player to come in and provide some support to Toby?
Yeah, well, potentially, but we've invested a little bit in the Cat B area as well, and Ollie H. Brown is ahead of his where we expected to be as a player, and has played some good AFL footy this year, and we think he can keep going. Samson's played a few games for us in the last month that have been significant, and Paddy Carr is sitting in the wings. He's a long way away, so we've invested there. Whether we bring some support in or not is to be seen, but the rucking situations have become a different game in a lot of ways with the change to the rules. I think everyone would agree, and so that's one thing that I think a lot of clubs are looking at.
Tasmania and Rammer mentioned this. He's on the horizon for all the teams in the competition. They were sniffing around Finn O'Sullivan, who recommitted his future to North Melbourne recently, but there were some reports as well that they were coming after Sam Lawler. Is there any sense of anxiety around whether your prize number one pick from a couple of years ago could potentially be in the sights of Tassie?
Well, if I was Tassie, I'd want Sam Lawler, but what I do know is that Sam loves playing for Richmond Footy Club, and I saw that close hand the last couple of weeks, and, the highs and lows of being a young footballer. He's loved by this footy team, and he loves playing at this football club. And, the way he finished the West Coast game, and then he misses a goal in the Adelaide game, and the emotion around that and how much he cares says to me we're going to have him for a long time. He's so important to us.
In terms of on-field, Tim, what metrics, what signs are you seeing that things are improving?
Well, more recently, it's our pressure around the contest, which has been so much better. Some of the stoppage numbers, etc., across the board have been good. But look, to be frank, we're not happy with where we're going. Not where we're going. We know where we're going. We're not happy with all those numbers, because if you look statistically across the board, we're not where we need to be. We understand where we're going with it, but we've been happier with our contest and attack on the footy and a defensive approach to the game the last couple of weeks. Can we take that to another level today? And then our ability to move the ball from turnover will be important as well. So there's a lot of areas we need to improve. We're not going to shy away from that, and we're looking forward to continuing to improve that right through the next two games.
Tim, we know you've got to go. Exciting time for Richmond today. Exciting time for your family as well, with Georgia elevated to Melbourne's AFLW list recently as well. So congratulations on that. Thanks for your time on ABC Sport.
Thanks very much for having me, and nice words to say. I appreciate it.
Tim Livingston, the Tigers EGM of Football Performance, joining us on ABC Sport ahead of Richmond taking on St Kilda here at the MCG, round 23 of this AFL home and away season. It could be the penultimate game for both of these two teams. St Kilda need to win to keep their season alive. And, of course, it will be the second last game of Richmond's campaign. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas with you, Marty Vinyl on the boundary as part of our team today. Of course, North Melbourne and Geelong doing battle a little bit later on today as well. You get that for most of our audience here on ABC Sport. Brisbane, the Gold Coast, the other twilight game today. Hawthorn, Collingwood here at the G, the second leg of a doubleheader. Port Adelaide, Melbourne, the other night game. So you can grab all of that via ABC Listen as well as the cricket. So head to ABC Listen. You can find the ABC Cricket button there, and you can listen to Jim, Corbin, Ben and the team from the top end, where things aren't exactly going swimmingly for Australia just quietly. A couple of drop catches, Maisie, and it's sort of bad to worse type stuff for the Aussies at the moment.
Pat Cummins is bowling slow balls and bounces, so that's how well we're going. It's 8 for 410. We don't look like it.
It's not ideal. It is not ideal. Your former PE teacher, Tim Livingston, wasn't giving a great deal away, Rammer, on all the moves that Richmond are to make, but they're going to be high up in the draft calculations. They will have their eye on free agents and players to make their team better. If you were making one key decision for them this off-season, maybe from a free agency perspective rather than the draft potentially, is there an area of need you see that they could address through that mechanism?
Probably a mid, I would say, because they've clearly got some younger mids, but I also think they need just another experienced one in there. Obviously, Prestia going out of the team now, having somebody in there to help Tim Taranto, Jacob Hopper. Not sure that's quite been the success they were hoping at this stage. So they still want to get more games into Sam Lawler playing through there. That we haven't seen Josh Smiley at all, unfortunately. So there's other young mids too that are coming through. So I think probably an experienced mid, just to pick up the slack more than anything. So, their defence looks okay, their forwards look okay, but we see so often now games are won or lost through the midfield.
When you say experienced mid, Raymond, are you looking for someone who's 25, like Taranto and Hopkins would have when they brought them across? Or
Ideally you want 25 because then they can progress through for the next 7 or 8 years with the group. But if that's not the case, well, you're probably looking for a 28-year-old that can, fill a gap for a couple of years until there's enough games into these young mids.
And as Marnie asked Tim, a guy that wears number 9 for Port Adelaide, Andy, who they remain in the hunt for.
Well, that's right. Look, I think if he comes to the Tigers, a lot changes quickly for the Tigers. So it'd be fascinating what Zach Butters does. He's given no indication of which way he's leaning, and you look at his performances for Port Adelaide this year when he was out on the park were terrific. So you hear Collingwood are in the race still, Geelong, Western Bulldogs, Richmond. Like, if you're any club, you should have asked the question, or you should have put a decent offer to Zach Butters to make him think about it.
Well, the best result for Port Adelaide is Richmond, isn't it? Yeah. They're going to get the best draft hand from them, unless players are involved in clubs.
Well, he's a free agent, don't forget. Now, Port Adelaide are saying they're going to match. Now, whether they do or not, don't know. We'll wait and see.
Would they be silly not to, with the trade that might come back the other way?
Yeah. Well, the examples are Jeremy Cameron when he went to Geelong, Paddy Dangerfield when he went to Geelong. So there are examples of clubs matching and what then you have to give up. Now, Zach Butters is one of those once-in-a-generation players. So if I'm Port Adelaide, I'm looking very strongly at matching that deal because you're going to get more. The compensation pick you're going to get won't be enough. And if a club genuinely wants him, well, they're going to have to give up more.
The big one too, because Port Adelaide have got Cochrane coming through. Yeah. They can get in front of their draft hand and get the extra pick. That would be very valuable for them.
Very, very valuable. So, a lot to play out in this off-season.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I think that I asked him the question about Adam Uze and what he needs as a coach. Now, he's finishing his third season. The wins haven't piled up, obviously, this year. As much as it's players, you've got to get your staff right. And I think Tim answered the question really well. They've got brilliant staff: Luke Bruce, Taylor Duray, Jack Zeeble through that development side of things. But you've got to keep bolstering that as a young team, and that's where I think clubs, rather than go, we need draft picks as compensation. Essendon, for example, asking for assistance from the football club. I think clubs should ask for more assistance through their soft cap and what coaches they can bring in and the like, because a team like Richmond, a team like Essendon, a team like Tasmania who are coming into the competition, they need coaches. They need coaches to be able to train these players, fast-track their skills being such young lists.
It's a young coaching group too. When you build them off, there's no sort of 10, 15-year experience.
Well, Blake Caracella.
Oh, yeah.
From that point of view, Sam Lonigan's been an assistant coach for a long time. So there is experience there.
Yep.
But again, you need to continue to bolster that.
Yep. Indeed. Both teams are out there ahead of this game at the MCG. Adam Romanakis, your expert on ABC Sports. 0437 774 774. Paul from Carlton's asked, does this tribute game for the Tigers mean the two, inverted commas, retiring players won't play in the final round? Indeed it does, Paul. So they both signalled that this will be their final game today in Richmond colours. So there's the opportunity for a couple to impress through the VFL this week and earn their spot for a round 24 appearance.
Can I float one? Do you reckon we'll see Nathan Broad up forward? I think he's only kicked 4 goals in his entire career. I reckon he might just sneak down there and try and get one late in his last game at the MCG.
Surely. That'd be a nice way to see him off. 4 goals, 2 in 191 games today for Nathan Broad, the 3-time Premiership Tiger out of Western Australia. The Saints in there predominantly white with the candy cane stripes on today here at the MCG in the white shorts, and the Tigers in the traditional black shorts, the black jumper with the yellow sash across the chest. Gives us an opportunity to again check in with the final member of our team, Marnie Vinyl. Marnie, how are conditions down there?
it's a little chilly. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I should have worn a bigger jacket. It was partly sunny today, as you mentioned, but the cloud cover has kind of gone on top of the MCG at the moment, so I'm kind of hoping that they pass and the sun comes and shines back down. But there's a really, really good buzz in this crowd. It's mostly yellow and black wherever you can see. Hoping it might fill out a little bit more as we approach the start of the game, but there's a good feeling. I think that there's a lot of people very emotional to be farewelling to stalwarts of the club. It was Cal Wilkie who won the coin toss, and so St Kilda are going to be kicking towards the city end and Richmond the punt road end.
Thank you, Marnie. Looking forward to more from you throughout the course of the afternoon. Of course, 5 changes for St Kilda. Hasty, Butler, Trevelyan, McRae and Taru come in for the Saints. 2 for Richmond in Harry Armstrong for his 3rd game of the season, his first since round 3. Luke Traynor back in from suspension. No late changes for each of these 2 teams. Adam Ramanauskas, how do you think this one plays out?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm on watch for St Kilda's attitude early in this game. So losing Naz last week, a significant loss for the team. So just attitude now. You mentioned Joel and Maisie. St Kilda is still very much a live chance to play in a wild card final if they win this game and Carlton lose. So, but I do think it's a real danger game. I think Richmond were terrific last week against Adelaide and it's certainly a live chance today.
Well, it's all on the line still for St Kilda as we get underway here at the MCG. De Koning won it down, jumps on top of the pack as well to ensure no one is going anywhere. Houghton gets to his feet, hands the footy back to the umpire. So we're underway again at the MCG. Hand pass over the back into congestion. Houghton tried to spin out of a tackle. Garcia had him wrapped up, ball and all, slams him to the turf, and we'll do it again.
Hugh Boxall playing very close attention to Tim Taranto at these few early stoppages. Saints with the clearance, haul by hand to Wilson. Flares it out to half forward for Owens, who marks at left half forward for St Kilda. 75 metres from home. Of course, the Saints team desperately in need of a tall target inside 50. Marshall was that with the kick, but it floated out of bounds on the full. Ben Miller, who's had a good season in defence for Richmond, can set it up, send it back to Broad, who marks alongside the defensive goal square on the MCG for the final time. The scene of his 3 premiership triumphs. He swings it to Anand and now Banks. Banks measures the kick nicely down the line and it's marked by Ralph Smith just behind the wing.
He thought about going quickly, did Hugo? Go short instead. Nice round of applause on cue. Guess who's got it? The other retiring premiership hero today, Dion Prestia. He's on the wing. Enters 50, but Wilkie had a couple of metres on a few opponents and takes the intercept mark. He goes to Hill, still inside defensive 50 with a short kick. De Koning's made the running. Now Hill's overcooked this one. It's going to set a task for De Koning, and he loses out all. Was so unlucky. In the end, just off a boot and out of bounds on the full off Rechko, and it is the Saints with the free kick at half-back.
17th game of Pat Rechko's debut season in Richmond colours. He's put together a good campaign. Coming in over the top was Broad on the wing. Ball spilt to Owens of the Saints. Half forward, outer side. Just pops the kick up toward Hall at half forward. The Tigers will get back there with numbers. Prestia cut it off to Banks across half-back to Flostone, who swings the kick wide. A bouncing ball will roll out of play in front of the members. And it'll be a Saints kick to Angus Hasty. He's between the wing and half forward. Short to Butler, back into the team this week. To the top of the goal square, floating in from the side was Wilson. Marshall brought it down to him. Windhager, Sharman, tight to the boundary line. Stuck it across the face with the left boot, and it stays in. Rechko, Broad, looping handball over the top to Houghton. Now Rechko can bring Richmond off half-back again. No score as yet, 2.5 minutes play.
Goes to the wing, and it's a lovely mark over the top by Lawler. Just stuck out the one arm, and the ball stuck in there. He goes centrally to Prestia, who's called to play on immediately. He can go out wide to Rechko, who's got it again. Right on centre wing underneath the Shane Warne stand. Half of level 4 shut this afternoon, but the bottom 3 levels filling up nicely. Up towards half 40 goes with his kick. Boxall over the top, trying to get it on the way down. Couldn't complete the mark at ground level. Houghton just got out of a tight space. Hand pass to Nankervis. Oh, he overcooked it. Looking for Campbell. It's out of bounds, and that'll be a lasso free kick to the Saints.
Sloppy start by both teams in this game.
Yep.
This feels like the warm-up to the main event maybe later on tonight.
This is the thing. Like every game of football you get, you know, you need to perform. And there's players for both teams potentially playing for their careers.
Long kick up the wing came from Wilkie. It stays in Saints' hands. Boxall, neat hand pass over the top, and now they generate some run, the Saints. Darting off half-back, long kick inside 50. Sharman goes with one hand on Annan, then sold him out of his boots. Spins around from 35 metres out. Flares it across the face of goal. Windhager, Butler, tight to the boundary line. Back to Windhager. He retreats. Hasty had it knocked down. Brilliantly done by Ralph Smith, who then ran into trouble, got caught holding the ball. Free kick back to the Saints. They'll try and make a more decisive path to goal. Butler squares it up to Hill. Brad Hill's marked 55 out. It is a crowded forward 50 for the Saints at the moment. Hill comes back to Silvani playing game 150 today. Here's Jack Silvani. Top of the goal square with the kick. It'll get out the back. And Miller walks it across on the goal line. First score of the day is a minor one. 4.5 minutes played in the opening term. It goes the way of the Saints.
So Miller, after having walked it across the goal line, he's going to kick right up the middle. He's looking for Lafau. Locked in a wrestle. No one knew which way that was going. Hall, meanwhile, takes advantage and goes all the way home. Blink and you miss it. Bit of confusion as to which way that was going. Hall knew it, and he pulled the trigger from 52. Opening goal of the afternoon. St Kilda 1-1-7. Richmond yet to score after 5 minutes.
Jeez, the umpire needed to call that back because the play had actually stopped. So it was a free kick against Lafau for holding in the end, but no player knew it. Now, Maxwell, look, good luck to him. He took the advantage there, but I think that's where the common sense part of the umpire has to come in and go, you know what, no, take the free kick. Everyone's stopped. There's no advantage because once Max Hall saw the umpire signal the free kick, that's when he took off. So might have just slightly got that wrong, the umpire, but we needed a goal to get the ball back to the centre of the ground at least. Correct.
So the Saints strike first here at the MCG. Coney trying to take it out of the middle. Boxall, hand pass over the head of Taru, which is no mean feat for the athletic Saints. Prestia kicks deep. Floating across O'Connell, brought it down to Wilkie. Now Silvani on the back pedal. He was wrapped up by Lynch. He snuck out of the tackle. Wilkie belts it outside the defensive 50. Bouncing ball for Philippo of St Kilda. And now at half-back, he can settle to Windhager. Handball over the top to Hall. He loops it forward to Wilson, and the Saints will chain it by hand down the wing. Philippo's left foot kick to the edge of the 50. Owens back with the flight. And Tom Brown with a decisive fist to knock it out of play. 55 from home. Saints in attack at right half forward. The ball will be spun back into play.
And we got a text message from the Traralgon Tiger there, Joel. So he said Nathan Broad played all 3 premierships on the MCG.
Ah, yes, the Gabba.
Yes.
Yeah, forgive me for consigning that particular year to history.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Plenty have done that.
Yeah.
From the stoppage, kick inside 50 from McRae, smothered on its way in. Back into congestion at centre half forward. Brown, nice work, was able to dodge, gave it to Nankervis by hand, further afield to Vlosten. He goes out wide, Houghton, spent it before he had it, dropped it, but had the composure to pick it up and go forward to Ralph Smith, who kept on running, kicks deep forward this time. Oh, good spoil in the end. Wilkie. Geez, he could have given away that free kick very easily, coming back with the flight, but it was a clean spoil and
that's the form he's in. He wasn't even looking. He just put the arm up there and the ball hit the hand.
A little bit quieter last week, Cal Wilkie.
Yeah, he was.
10 disposals, 1 intercept mark, but he's put together another stellar season coming off an All-Australian campaign.
He did have Brody Kemp last week for a lot of that game, so Brody Kemp played very much a defensive role on Wilkie.
Brody Kemp's been in good form himself.
Yeah,
he's Flostone in front of the centre circles for the Tigers. Stabs it inside the 50. Nankervis comes across, throws an arm up, brings it down. It'll handball away to Taranto. Taranto to fall forward. He needed a kind bounce. He didn't get it. It scoots through for another rush behind. 2 behinds, plays 1-1-7. Saints on top. 8 minutes gone opening term. 0437 774 774. And the text from Traralgon Tiger just proves, Rammer, not much gets past our astute audience.
Absolutely not.
Long kick from half-back. Windhager, with all the bravery in the world, went back with a fly, didn't complete the mark at ground level. It is wrapped up as Clark gives it back to the umpire. Ball up to take place. Left half forward here for the Tigers. Kicking towards the punt road end. Campbell off the back of the stoppage. Gathered nicely. Turned boundary side. Hand pass and works the 1-2 with Nankervis. Looks for another 1-2 over the top, although Clark went further afield. Just overcooked the hand pass. Green's there, though. Intelligent little kick forward and kept in by the Tigers. Wilkie's there. He's got to get rid of it. He did just. And now Hill becomes the tackler. Ball still in dispute. Was it holding the ball? No, umpire wave play on. Windhager back to Wilkie, who forces a quick kick out of there. De Koning with an athletic fly. Crashed the pack, did enough to win the stoppage. Now a chance in the middle for Wilson. He's got a couple of options forward. Owens hasn't doubled back yet. He kicked it over his head in the end, so a bit of work for Allen to do there, and he did it beautifully. Tigers with numbers in defence. Floston, hand pass over the top, is going to be okay. To Banks, who goes further afield. And Trainer just stuck the arm out and ball didn't come down with him. He then took on the tackle, and this will be holding the ball. Going back the other way. Inside attacking 50 now. A chance for St Kilda to go forward through McRae.
Frustrating year for Luke Trainer. In and out of the team. Mostly out. Suspended after the gut punch a couple of weeks ago against the Eagles. McRae short to Hill. Kicks inside the 50, and Nick Floston will eat those for breakfast. And picks that one off easily, shoots it across the defensive 50 to Clark. Good to see Judson Clark back out on the MCG after a long absence. He got a kick away, and then sprawling out after that one was...
Got to take the grass there. Judson Clark had metres in front of him.
Green didn't quite get a hand on it. It bounced out of play. So lasso free kick for the Saints, and they'll go back into ball possession mode. Hill behind the centre circles. They lead by 5 points. 10.5 gone opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Massive 5-game slate today. 3 AFLW games. Of course, Test cricket on will keep you across throughout the course of the afternoon. Depending on how well it goes, Maisie, we might give up. And just stop feeding those scores through eventually. Hall at half forward for St Kilda. Handball pinched by Ralph Smith. And the Tigers are off back the other way. There's a free kick. No, I thought there was a whistle. Umpire waves play on. And now the Tigers can bounce it down the outer side. Richco's got it again.
Just had a fumble, then went the fend. Just got the hand pass away. No, umpire says hold the ball. He had enough time. So a St Kilda free kick for Taru, who goes centrally. This might be a turnover. Almost. In fact, it is, because Hill couldn't complete the mark on the way down. Richmond coming the other way. Long hand pass forward to Taranto. Inside attacking 50. Smothered. And it's out for a boundary throw in inside attacking 50. Fair to say this isn't being played at any great level at the moment.
Or intensity.
No.
The intensity's been lacking for both teams. Our disposal has been really poor by both teams. Handball missing targets, kicks missing targets, tackles not sticking. We need some highlights soon.
Thrown back into play. Hawkshaw. Oh, well done by Lynch. Almost ripped it out of his hands. In fact, he did the work at ground level. Burnso there for the Saints. Was able to get it to Hill, to Hall. Now to Silvani. Silvani kicks. That's a turnover as well, coming back the other way. Now a chance for Trainer. He shoots from 50. It's away to the right. In fact, misses absolutely everything. Out of bounds on the full. 12 minutes played opening term. 1-1-7 St Kilda. 2 behinds Richmond. Margin 5 points. And this hasn't reached any great height yet.
No. No, that's putting it mildly. Silvani, chip short to Hall, did a power of work to get up for last week. Jack Silvani has a few Saints who are a little bit banged up at this stage of the season. Tom De Koning among them, this man among them too. Brad Hill, as he accepts the kick from Wilkie to his chest, shoots it down the line for Wilson. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas, Marnie Vinyl calling the action for you. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Max Hall is on his haunches down on the bench as well. He's been busy early, might have copped a whack somewhere along the lines. Long kick to half forward for the Saints. Windhager to McRae. And that was handballed out of play. It'll be a lasso free kick for Clark at half back for Richmond.
We're on world record pace for lassos. We've had 4 in the opening 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's an absolute rodeo here at the MCG. 13 minutes played, Saints by 5, and their Tigers are just kicking it around half back.
Probably says something about the skill level so far this afternoon. They go forward here, the Tigers, up towards centre-half forward. Saru, and a strong tackle coming the other way was Taranto. In short, he was going nowhere, and a ball up will take place. Centre-half forward here for Richmond. They trail by 5 points. Can they get some movement from this stoppage? On the edge of the centre square. Taranto in and under. He's pushed over. Wilson, good hand pass to Filippo, who just got the hand pass away, and that's not bad either. So Lakey goes inside, attacking 50. Is it a free kick? It should be.
Should it?
It was. And Higgins will receive it. He's about 30 out, 45 to ground to the right.
I think it's stiff. You'll see the replay.
That's all ball.
Yeah, that's all ball there. That's great defensive play by Luke Traynor. So Jack Higgins going to ground, I think that's what fooled the umpire there.
So he's going to go round the corner here, Higgins. He's in the right forward pocket, so he'll go with the left. Prolific goal kicker. And that kick has missed. Hooks that a little bit too much.
He had poor kicking form last week as well, Jack Higgins. Number of opportunities against the Blues.
1-2-8 the Saints, 2 behinds the Tigers. Let's head downstairs, Money.
You're talking a bit about the standard of this game. There's 2 fans here that could not care less. They're both, I reckon, under 8. Family friends of Dion Prestia, and they're right up here just yelling at him, and they're so excited.
Love that. That's part of the joy that footy can bring. Garcia sends it back inside the 50, and Traynor picks it off.
That's the local club feeling that we need to keep around football.
Yep.
Can't let it get too professional.
Yep. Important to harness that emotion and make sure there is still a place for that. And people, it is great when you're out in the outer on a day like today and you see families and the kids are all decked out in the Richmond gear or the Saints gear. It does remind you why we're all here.
Correct.
Sam Grill whacks it high inside 50. Lynch gets to the front of the pack for Richmond. Reading it nicely off hands was Hill. Shoots it back to Travalia. Inside defensive 50 for the Saints. Hill did well. Now Garcia thought about handballing. Should have handballed. He kicked an absolute mung down the line. It was a knuckleball straight to Judson Clark, who marks a left half forward.
Could have had our 5th lasso if he just let that go. Another metre. Clark kicks inside, attacking 50. Leap over the top, not taken by Garcia, and he turns tackler in the end, and we'll have another stoppage inside, attacking 50 here for the Tigers. Almost 16 minutes played opening term. One straight kick the margin in favour of the Saints. Lafau doing the ruck work. Bounces towards Stocker, who roved. Kicked immediately out of defensive 50, but well intercepted by Miller, and he can switch play up too to Broad, who's over halfway inside the centre square, goes inside attacking 50 with the kick. Oh, Taru almost crowd surfed there, that pack.
I was on his own play, amazing.
They wanted a free kick, the Tigers fans. Now he'll happy to step it over. That's very close to deliberate. He had a little bit of pressure in front of him, but he received the hand pass and then just stepped backwards. So he accepts the kick in and goes to Silvani, and now the Saints are away.
It's cut out by Rechko, though, who's been good in the early stages. He just can't keep that ball alive after spoiling it. And the Tigers fans not exactly thrilled with the call. Ball will be tossed back in, right half forward. 5-point lead to the Saints. 1 goal through 16.5 minutes in this game thus far, and it went the way of St Kilda. Prestia chases it out toward the boundary line. Sharman beats him to it, steps it across. And again, it'll be tossed in centre of the southern wing. Neither side able to get much of a foothold in this game so far, Rama.
Well, no. And look, possession's enormous in this game. We're 17 minutes in, and St Kilda have already had 100 possessions. So pressure is just non-existent by the Tigers at the moment.
Foul and Marshall in ruck. Marshall went to ground, flicked it over his head. Taranto's there for the Tigers. Handball to Lawler. Now to Prestia along the boundary line. Kicks up that southern wing. And it's easily cut off by Toby Travalia. Back into the Saints team this week. 6th game of the season for the first round pick of a couple of years ago. You can try and set up an attack from half back.
He goes out wide looking for Marshall, and Marshall stood tall in the pack and flying over the top, couldn't affect the contest. He gets to his feet a little gingerly and jogs back, comes in board to Burns, and now a chance for Hill, who's inside the centre square. He's done plenty of running already, Brad Hill. Drives this one long right to Owens in the goal square, worked his man under it beautifully and took the chest mark. It was a good kick. It favoured Owens.
Well,
and he did enough with the body.
The first kick's the important one from Marshall, coming back inboards there to Brad Hill. Now, he had runners going past Brad Hill, but take the responsibility yourself. A senior leader in this team. Kicks it to the fat side. Mitch Owens there able to hold off his direct opponent.
So he marked at the top of the square. He's on a slight angle to the right here. He'll only kick from 15 or 20 metres out from goal. In comes Owens for his first of the afternoon, and he doesn't disappoint. So the opening 2 goals of the afternoon, the way of the Saints, 2-2-14, leading Richmond 3 behind. We've played 18 minutes in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, I mentioned Brad Hill. He's up to 14 possessions in this first quarter, so he's had the 10 kicks, 4 handballs. 11 of those possessions have been uncontested. So we know he's a running machine, but this is where Richmond need to be better. Like, with Naz not playing, it's sort of like, well, what are their next best ball winners? Now, Brad Hill is clearly that, and they're just allowing him off the chain at the moment. So he's doing as he pleases here at the moment. 5 uncontested marks. Cal Wilkie's up to 10 himself, just controlling that defensive half of the ground as he usually does. So Richmond need to start to apply some pressure to this St Kilda team.
Back in the middle, the Tigers will get the clearance up toward forward, or colliding with Travalia and Hasty. And Hasty's pulled up a little bit sore at centre-half back. Travalia goes back in, flicks the handball back to Hill, bashes it back the other way, spills away to Ross. Ross off a couple of steps, nails it. From the top of the 50, Jack Ross unloads a bomb to get the Tigers on the board in a major sense. 1-3-9 Richmond, St Kilda 2-2-14. 20 minutes played opening term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, much better there. So the 2 St Kilda players there, Travaglia and Hasty, run into each other. Hasty comes off second best in that competition, but Richmond at ground levels just started to outnumber there. So Brad Hill, I sang his praises earlier for the goal for Owens there, makes a critical mistake. You've got to take the ball, take the tackle on that occasion. Ross is there waiting. Beautiful finish there for the Tigers for their first of the game.
So margin back to 5 points. Now into time on in this opening term. A cloudy day now at the MCG. Hall tracking this one back from the middle. And then Garcia becomes the tackler in that contest. So another stoppage to take place. Krill gets to his feet. Gives the footy back to the umpire. And then Curvis just punches it away from any sort of contest at the moment. Then Hall was almost caught holding the ball. Umpire wave play on. Stocker to Hasty, who's involved in that collision a moment ago. He goes by hand to Wilkie. And then out wider still to Garcia, who's a left half back for the Saints.
Drag the footy up for fun across the course of the season. Hugo Garcia, speaking of, Brad Hill disposal number 15, carves it infield to Hall on the diagonal. Massive game last week for Max Hall. 30 disposals, 2 goals, 3, 10 clearances, 10 inside 50s. He was enormous. It's an awkward kick across the defensive 50. It'll work out, though, for Stocker, who punches a kick wide for Silvani. The former Carlton teammates link up. And now Silvani kicks the Saints inside forward 50. Owens in from the side. Terrific hands. He read that ball beautifully. And he latched onto it 35 from home to a slight angle to the right of centre.
When Mitch Owens has a genuine key forward to play with, he's going to be a really, really tricky matchup for any team. He's having to play as a key forward for St Kilda now for a couple of years.
23 goals on the season so far. He's up against it up there, but he's making a good fist of it, Mitch Owens. He's got a pair in the early going. And he just needs a foil to help him out up there. An 11-point lead now to the Saints. 22 and a half gone. Opening term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Rama.
Yeah, and I mentioned that because we know the story of Max King, obviously, but they've tried others down there. Like Caminiti has been tried down there a couple of times. Hasn't quite worked. He looks better as a key defender. Cooper Sharman is similar height. So they've just lacked those tall players. And I think that's where the frustration is for St Kilda fans, is that when they do get that right, how does it look? You know, how does it change the whole dynamic of their team? Does it push them higher up the ladder? Because at the moment you've got Roll Marshall's down there at the moment with Tom De Koning in the ruck, but he's playing out of a forward pocket basically.
De Koning won it down, but only as far as Lawler, who drives the Tigers inside attacking 50. Ball almost got out the back of the pack. Well, hitting it with some pace there was Ralph Smith, who darted down from the wing. And he's wrapped up in the forward pocket, stoppage to take place. Mids are rushing down there. Nankervis won it down only as far as Taru. It's caught in between a few legs, and the umpire says, I'll have it again. Ball up to take place. Left forward pocket here, punt road end. Crowd packed behind this stoppage. Hasty had a fumble at the last minute, then he dived on it, just got rid of it at the right time. Ooh, big aggressive tackle there by Nankervis. And he just held on a little too long. Boxer with the free kick. Right back pocket for the Saints.
Richmond faithful not happy with that. In cricket, 8 for 417 Bangladesh at lunch. So no inroads for the Aussies in a great sense. Long kick outside the defensive 50 from Boxall, marked by Sharman. Kicks to the edge of the defensive side of the square now to De Koning. Gets on his left boot. It's a poor kick in the end, easily cut off by Banks. On the front point of the square for Richmond, he had O'Connell and Silvani to pick from. Tom De Koning, and he split the both of them. Couldn't find the target. Now short on the outer side. Saints 3-2, Richmond 1-3. A 5-game slate of men's AFL today. 3 women's games as well. The first of those between North Melbourne and Geelong starting very soon as the Roos begin their 2-time premiership defence. They ended that game 27 games in a row they have won. But the Cats have come close, and Mick Stanier, when he was coaching Melbourne, now coaching Geelong, has been one who's led his team pretty close to the Kangaroos. Tigers to half forward. Prestia jabs it inside the 50. It stays alive for Nankervis, who's got Wilkie to deal with. He thought about the fend-off and then just retreated across the boundary line. And it'll be thrown in 45 out from the Richmond goal. The punt road end of the MCG.
Well, the game at the moment is just very one-on-one. Neither team is taking an extra up to the stoppage. Neither team is dropping a player behind the ball. So it's just pure, us against them type of mentality for both teams at the moment.
De Koning rose high, and then it was back into Banks. Oh no, it was Green who got to his feet. Hands the ball back to the umpire. We'll have another ball up, this time outside attacking 50. De Koning reaches over the top with an athletic leap. We then got the footy, hand pass defensive side of that stoppage to O'Connell on his left, and that's out of bounds on the full. Put it down for another one this afternoon. So this one coming back inside attacking 50, you'd think, for the Tigers.
It'll be Ross to do the work. From right half forward, he shoots the kick to the pocket. Lawler. Powerful overhead mark. And Lawler drags it in. 45 out. Couple of paces in from the boundary line. It'll kick from just inside the 50 in the right forward pocket.
Strong hands.
It was terrific here a couple of weeks ago against the Eagles with 3. A little bit sore after a collision last week late against the Crows, but able to play today. He sends it on its way from close to the boundary line and left it narrow all the way. 10-point lead the way of the Saints. 27 gone in the opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
And he's one of the players that I'm talking about. Obviously number 1 draft pick, but he's got to be playing 50 or 60% game time as a midfielder next year.
Yeah, big pre-season coming up for him. Let's hope he gets a good run at it. Huge jump and big defensive score there from Anand.
He's a fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, last week he was excellent.
Yep. So I think, that's what I'm talking about earlier. The back half of their ground looks relatively settled. Now, Nathan Broad will leave a gap, but they should be able to fill that role.
And Curvis wins it down, left half forward here for the Tigers. That hand pass a little too hot for Houghton, and through his hands and out for another boundary throw-in.
And I say that Vlosten still looks like he's got plenty of footy in him. Jaden Short still looks like he's got plenty of footy in him. But then you've got Brown, who looks like he's going to be a good player. Traynor, that looks like a good player. Miller. So, their backline stocks look good, the Tigers.
Thrown back into play. De Koning and Nankervis wrestling. Bobbles around a little bit. And Ross, hand pass over the top to Nankervis. Just got the hand pass away. Although it bounces the way here of Houghton, who's almost pushed over the boundary line. And Garcia ensures it does go over. And there's a few little afters. Nothing too nasty in that. Nice to see Grill getting involved, and we'll have another boundary throw, and they've progressed about 20 metres here, the Saints, just shy of centre wing.
A couple of the rookies in there. Taj Houghton, an effective rookie, and Sam Grill in his first year in yellow and black. Ralph Smith is wrapped up. Of course, Dad Sean played for the Saints with our man Nathan Burke. Still involved in the past players for St Kilda. Sean Ralph Smith. And Curvis slaps it down. Sends it forward. Windhager. Handball to McRae. Lightning hands to get it away to Garcia, who jams it on the boot. Marshall had a good couple of pieces of it. Annan with him every step of the way. Deep entry for St Kilda. No one was home, though. And the Tigers can work it out of there. Banks gave it to Broad as quarter time is reached here at the MCG, a game that didn't hit any massive heights in that opening term. It was scrappy stuff between these two teams. We went 16 minutes with only one goal on the board between them. A little flurry late. And at quarter time is St Kilda 3-2-20 to Richmond 1-4-10. Ross Lyon and Cal Wilkie having a conversation in front of the St Kilda bench as the Saints captain's about to run down into the rooms. 2 goals in the opening term to Mitch Owens for the Saints, 1 to Max Hall. And the goal for Richmond, kicked by Jack Ross in that opening term. 0437 774 774 to join us throughout the course of the afternoon. It's the Saints by 10 at the end of 1. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
I'm Sana Kadar. Join me to explore the psychology behind the biggest questions in our lives, from relationships to stress levels to solving crime.
Your lie detection ability approximates chance.
Search All in the Mind on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
So Miller, having walked it across the goal line, he's going to kick right up the middle. He was looking for Lafau. Locked in a wrestle. No one knew which way that was going. Hall, meanwhile, takes advantage and goes all the way home. Comes in board to Burns, and now a chance for Hill, who's inside the centre square. He's done plenty of running already, Brad Hill. Drives this one long right to Owens in the goal square. Worked his man under it beautifully, took the test mark. In comes Owens for his first of the afternoon, and he doesn't disappoint.
Tigers will get the clearance up toward half forward, or colliding with Trevallier and Hasty. And Hasty's pulled up a little bit sore at centre half back. Trevallier goes back in, flicks the handball back to Hill, bashes it back the other way, spills away to Ross. Ross off a couple of steps, nails it. Stocker, who punches a kick wide for Silvani. The former Carlton teammates link up. And now Silvani kicks the Saints inside forward 50. Owens in from the side, terrific hands. He read that ball beautifully. He's up against it up there, but he's making a good fist of it, Mitch Owens. He's got a pair in the early going.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Saints by 10 at the end of 1 at the MCG. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas and Marnie Vinyl with you. Saturday Footy here on ABC Sport. Terrific to have your company. Richmond and St Kilda at the MCG. North Melbourne and Geelong. Brisbane and Gold Coast in the twilight this afternoon. Hawthorn Collingwood tonight here, the second leg of a double header at the G. And Port Adelaide and Melbourne is the other game on a massive Saturday of footy. Of course, 3 women's games on as well. The Tigers will start their campaign against Collingwood a little bit later today. North Melbourne start their premiership defence against Geelong. Gold Coast Western Bulldogs in the AFLW throughout the course of the afternoon. So we'll keep you across all of that. You can hear a call of the cricket as well. Australia versus Bangladesh up in the top end. 8 for 417. Bangladesh at lunch on day 3. So well and truly in control of that test match, which is a surprising start to what's going to be an elongated period of cricket from the Australian perspective. Rama, the opening term, it was scrappy for both of these teams, but the numbers say that the Saints are in control as far as possession goes.
Yeah, they certainly are. It was a scrappy start to the game by both teams. It just looked like really a bit of circle work that wasn't very skillful. So the ball was on the ground a lot, missed handballs, missed kicks, missed tackles, missed marks, and it was going through the motions very much the early part of that first quarter. St Kilda about 132 possessions for the quarter. So they're nearly on pace for 600 touches of the football for the game, which would just be out of this world. So Richmond's pressure in that first half, I thought was lacking. In that first quarter, I thought was really lacking. So Brad Hill's had the 15 possessions in that quarter. Wilkie 11, Max Hall 11, Jack McRae 9. I'd love to see one of the young Richmond players go to Brad Hill in this second quarter now. Brad Hill's been an elite runner in this competition for many, many years. Obviously, his Hawthorn years were incredible there, where he played in those premiership teams. But, maybe it's a young Taj Hodden. Maybe it's a Judson Clark. The guys that you want to play that role in the future. Go and learn from a guy that's been able to do it 250 times in this league to get a lesson. Now, if you let Brad Hill run around as he is now, he'll have 40 plus. That's just where it's heading, because they give him the ball. We know how to St Kilda play. They love to feed the ball to their runners. Their runners are long runners. So Darcy Wilson, Brad Hill, Max Hall, Windhager, even Hugo Garcia. They're all very powerful runners. So that's how Ross has always coached his teams with those guys, particularly through the middle of the ground. It's not your short 5-10 metre burst. It's your 50, 60, 70 metre burst running, and then you're kicking the football. So I think if Richmond tighten up that part of the game, not allowing those St Kilda runners, particularly through the middle of the ground, to have it all their own way. It's a 10-point margin, but it feels a lot more. It does feel a lot more in this game at the moment. So tricky one for the Tigers. Obviously, they want their younger players to play the game, but I believe you're still going to be teaching them the right way that you want them to play.
So +1 in terms of inside 50s in that team.
Most of the other stats are very similar and close.
Lafau, Lynch and Armstrong, their three tall targets, have had one disposal between them.
Yeah, that's where the issue lies, I think, for the Tigers. I mentioned their back half of the ground looks relatively organised for the future. I think it's their forward half of the ground is still very much a work in progress. So having Harry Armstrong playing, they've obviously got Jonty Fall as well. Tom Sims they've got also on the list. So I think there's still a fair bit of trial and error in the front half of their ground.
Good text from Dom on 0437 774 774 as well, saying, speaking about the Nathan Broad role, Josh Gibcus is another one who we just have not seen. He's been
just needs some luck.
Yeah, he's been it's been a brutal run with injuries for another former Tigers first round pick. Second term underway, Saints by 10. They get the clearance to start. Garcia to Hall, drives it inside 50. His trainer hanging on to Marshall. He was, and the big Saint will have the free kick. 45 from home, and he's gesturing that he wants to send this one long to the punt right end.
The interesting part for the Saints is how they review Marshall and De Koning at season's end, and if it worked.
What's your verdict?
Well, I think Rowan Marshall just looks so much better in the ruck. Like we did the game when St Kilda went down to Geelong at Cardinia Park a couple of weeks ago, and Marshall dominated. Just completely dominated that game.
When what he decides to do with his future as well. For now, he's in Saints colours, and he's strutting into the punt right end, sending it on its way and kicking, trawling. It's a glorious set shot from Rowan Marshall. And his teammates come from everywhere to celebrate with him as he gets the first goal of the second term within a minute. 4-2-26 the Saints. Richmond 1-4-10. Minute played second term. Of course, you feel like Geelong will loom at the end of the season again for him. Well, after the conversation there.
Well, my point to it is how are they evaluating it as successful or unsuccessful? Now, I don't know what the metrics are unless St Kilda are prepared to come out and tell us what that is. But it seems to me that when they've played together, is De Koning's had a lot more time in the ruck than Rowan Marshall. So maybe it is the thought of St Kilda that we want to play Marshall as a 70% forward and a 30% ruckman. I don't think that suits Rowan Marshall, to be totally honest.
Back in the middle, we'll have a secondary ball up after Prestia was taken to ground.
The other part we need to keep an eye on today is percentage.
Tossed up, Garcia just got away from him at the last moment. Boxall tried to get his arms free, was slammed into the ground. Umpire said play on, and now he'll have it a third time.
And I say that, Maisie, because if Carlton lose their next two and St Kilda win their next two, they're very close in percentage at the moment. So St Kilda can make up that little gap today if possible.
St Kilda on top of Carlton on percentage at the moment, so 102, Carlton 99. So they could go a long way to just taking that out of the equation almost today if they have a big win.
That's where they've got to be pushing.
They need everything to break their way to potentially make a wildcard final. Bobbles around, centre wing outer side of the ground. De Koning has a play at it. Hall, Garcia, Rannin and Nankervis, which is a position that no player in the competition wants to find themselves in. It's like standing on the tracks with the freight train coming the other way. And Curvis goes into battle against De Koning again. Slap down in the direction of Prestia. Emerging with it was Ralph Smith for the Tigers. Flicks the handball over the top. Trying to find Taranto on the end of it. Richko's dragged down another ball up.
And just quickly, we've got a lot of loyal listeners on Saturday. So for those that are wondering where Corbin and Ben are, they're up at the top end doing the cricket at the moment.
Tanning. Beautiful up there, it looks.
It does.
A bit different to a 15-degree cloudy day here at the MCG. We'll have another stoppage left half forward. I think we've had 7 ball ups since the goal a minute and a half ago.
And the ball's moved 50 metres maybe?
There's a lot of players around this footy. Now a clearance. A significant 1-2 from Taranto as he goes inside 50. No mark taken. Grill front and centre. Now Ralph Smith runs a good line, but was taken over the boundary line and out of bounds next to the left behind post. So a chance deep inside attacking 50 here for the Tigers. 1-4-10 Richmond, 4-2-26 St Kilda. They've kicked the only goal of this second term so far. Toss back into play. Lynch. Whistle. It's going St Kilda's way. Or is it? It is. It's going to Stocker, who didn't even know he had the free kick. So he had to be called back from the umpire 50 metres back to take the free kick.
I find that incredible that a player has got a free kick, but he doesn't even know it's his free kick. So what's the umpire seeing there in that contest?
Wilkie off half-back, handball to Hill, disposal number 16 coming up for Brad Hill. No Tigers had it more than 7 times. He swings it across the defensive 50 to Garcia, who marks and goes immediately. Sends it up to Marshall. Marshall to Hall, 60 metres out for the Saints. Max Hall swings around on the right boot towards Sharman. Marks, rolls into goal and sticks it through. Saints with 2 in the opening 5 minutes of the second term. And Cooper Sharman, the beneficiary of some swift ball movement from St Kilda. 5-2-32, Richmond 1-4-10. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, a bit of excitement here and a bit of excitement in the top end. We finally took that wicket in the cricket there. So they're 9 down now, Bangladesh. But it was a kick of Brad Hill from half back where he's good. The ball gets central. And then St Kilda are able to go through the middle of the ground. Little kick to Marshall. Marshall then to Hall and then the deeper one. Those deeper entries inside forward 50 are critical because it really makes the defenders defend. Whereas when they're shallow entries, well, you can sort of take a little bit of a risk there if you're a defender and start to go. But those deep entries, and Sharman was just too good in that marking contest.
Back to the middle, and then Curvis shrugged a couple of tackles, then got it to Lawler off his left, up towards half forward. No mark taken through the legs of Green. Now big tackle on Taru, and we'll have a ball up, 40 out from the Richmond goal. 6 minutes played, second term, margin 22 points in favour of the Saints. Tossed up, there'll be another clearance here for Garcia, who slams it on his left boot up towards the wing, well controlled by Owens, who got it to the running Butler, kicks over the top to Wilson, who can run. He kept going too, gets to 50, then pauses, hand passes back to Butler, who kept on going. He hand passes further afield, and then the centering ball across towards Marshall, who's up, and he didn't come down with it. Did almost everything there right, St Kilda, but spilled it at the last moment. Owens ensures it stays inside St Kilda's forward 50. And the stoppage take place next to the left behind post.
Marshall reaches up. Owens grabs high. Free kick to Mitch Owens in the left forward pocket. Pretty close in, looking for a third goal in this second term already for the Saints. Already kicked one. Has Mitch Owens as he just regathers his composure, puts the footy down as he goes back to the top of his mark and takes a moment to assess what's ahead of him. Tighten the left forward pocket. Hunt road into the ground. Whips around and kicks truly. Summed it up nicely. Second goal for Mitch Owens. And the Saints are flying. to start this second term. 3 in 7.5 minutes. They lead by 28 points. Before the thoughts of Rammer will go downstairs to Marnie.
Yellow and black are definitely the dominant colours in the crowd, but the Saints Army are making themselves known when they score. Someone who I didn't expect to be sitting behind me, though, is Carlton's Sophie McKay.
There you go. Of course, the Blues AFLW star watching on this afternoon, coming off a win over the Saints last week. A couple of texts as well, Rammer, on our maths.
Yes.
Of course.
And as always, our listeners are right.
Yep.
So we do acknowledge that.
So St Kilda win 2, their percentage is above 100. Carlton lose 2, their percentage is already below 100, right. So it won't matter.
Won't matter. Correct.
Back in the middle to Koning and then Curvis. Give that one to Nankervis. And then de Koning got to work at ground level. Hand pass towards space more than anything. Hill's there to burst onto it, though. He gathers. He kicks towards attacking 50. It's in front of Owens again. Might have come off his boot. He saves it from being another lasso. Could have almost been a throw. And it is. No, it's not. It's a throw in. So all the players, I reckon, thought that was a throw, but it might well have been out before it was. So it's going to be a ball in.
Richmond have touched the football 7 times in 9 minutes in this quarter.
Yeah, this is a worrying second term so far for the Tigers after a slow start from both teams in the opening term. Hall kicks inside, attacking 50. Owens again. Right forward pocket this time, came out on a strong lead, and that vice-like grip around that footy wasn't letting him down.
Well, he's the problem, Mitch Owens.
So he will line up for goal number 4.
Yeah.
25 goals this year so far for Mitch Owens, and he looks on this afternoon. He'll kick from 40, right on the boundary line, right forward pocket. It's across the face. In fact, it's going to miss everything. And then Curvis just into the goal post to ensure that Richmond will win back possession. Rush behind it is. 1-4-10 the Tigers, 6-3-39 the Saints. And you can tell who's taking the kick out. It's Dion Prestia for the Tigers.
Don't mention the R word as he runs into play. Sends it long. Lynch, Silvani came over the top of him. Ball spilt to Burns, who got wrapped up by Lawler. Umpire waves play on. The locals are enraged. This Tiger crowd. Lawler goes back in, tries to lay the tackle once more. And pack around the footy at left half forward for the Saints. Taranto comes away with it. Clark. Handball to Prestia, weaves his way through a couple of tackles, then loops the handball forward to Taranto again. He pops it over the top to Lawler, centre of the members' wing. Now on to Lynch. Lafau's out the back if they can get it there. Lynch handball back to Lawler. Kicks now to Lafau.
Oh, it's play on. It should be.
Lafau thought long and hard about coming around that line. But he will go back from point-blank range and try and get this first of this second term.
Well, it's their best movement all day, the Tigers. So what are we, 11 minutes into this second quarter? They take the ball from half-back down. Preston involved heavily in that passage.
And Lafau just needs to finish it off. And does. There's the little glimpse for Tigers fans. 2-4-16. St Kilda 6-3-39. 11 played second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Adam Ramanauskas.
So is it just that little cutback in boards by Prestia, gets the handball to Taranto. Then it's Lawler with another handball. And I think that was Tom Lynch's first touch of the game. So he gets involved there as well. But it's the chain of handball. And I think when your chain of handball are all hitting the target, it makes it very difficult for the opposition to defend. And that was the case there with St Kilda. They just couldn't stop the ball. That allowed Richmond a deep entry inside forward 50 for Lafau.
And the goal kicker is now into the ruck for the Tigers. He'll go up against Rowan Marshall. Marshall looks straight at him. Lafau actually won that down, and he did the work at ground level, was tackled off it at the last moment. Umpire waves play on. Wilson comes through the stoppage, did nicely. Hand pass out to the running Hill. Another possession for him and another beautiful delivery onto the chest of Higgins, who's 55 from goal. He kicks towards Sharman in the forward pocket, and it's spoiled out of bounds by Broad, who was in front on that occasion. Boundary throw in to take place. Right forward pocket here for St Kilda. underneath the Shane Warne stand. 23 points the margin, 12 played second term. Here's Joel Peterson.
Broughton Prestia would have to do a little bit wrong to not get a round of applause today, I reckon.
Wow, that's what happens when your premiership stars. Richmond was starved of success for so long.
Here is Prestia right on cue. Ross, trainer, kicks smothered, spills to Owens. He goes headlong into the legs of Flostone. And it spills out toward the boundary line. It'll be tossed back in. Right forward pocket, Saints into attack. 3-1 in this second term so far. In the AFLW was the Roos who got the first goal of the game at Docklands. It's Geelong by a point at quarter time over the all-conquering Kangaroos in their AFLW season opener. Windhager got upended after he kicked the full forward, knocked away from Sharman. Lake lays the tackle immediately, and a ball up at full forward for the Saints.
Foul wandering down to do the ruck work here against Marshall. Marshall just grabbed it out of the ruck. Couldn't get his hands free. Should have been holding the ball. Umpire said play on. And now it's another stoppage in the forward pocket here for St Kilda.
So that's not considered prior opportunity when you grab it out of the ruck anymore.
So I thought he had a long time to get rid of that once he took the tackle.
Looked like he was fighting the tackle. So that's, I think, where it should have been holding the ball.
Another ball up to take place here. 20 out from goal. Umpire clears away. Marshall taps it down on this occasion. It's a good tap to Garcia too. Only just got his hand pass away to Prestia, who turned it over to Wilson. Now to Butler. Butler looking for a bit of space. Philippou heard the voice. It was Hill who had a fumble. His hand pass missed the target. Burns comes in for support. Tries to shrug the tackle. Got his hand pass to Butler, who hand passed blindly over his head. This is all very messy. Forward of centre here for St Kilda. And another ball up to take place after Lake was taken to ground. Can't get a clear possession here. The Saints inside attacking 50.
Pressure from both teams is very good. Marshall in ruck, slaps it down. Garcia chases after it. Picks it up, left foot kick through the traffic to full forward. Couple of Tigers fly for it. Trainer over the top, spilled to Lake, waltz through, too much juice on the hand pass, and that's a throw.
That has got to be a throw.
Absolutely a throw. A little overhead flick from Steely Green, so he left the ground to try and take the foot. He was almost like he was doing a volleyball set back to the player at the top of the goal square. And he's just flicked it with both hands from above his head. And it'll be a free kick for the Saints. That's an unusual one.
That's very unusual.
Why didn't he tap it?
Particularly, I think it just was all a bit slow to process, Mosey, to be honest with you.
He was buffering at the top of the goal square. Not the place you want to be buffering. Windhager to take the free kick and stick it through for the Saints. And they take advantage of what was a truly bizarre mistake.
I'm not sure what the Tiger supporters are booing for.
Maybe one of the other early ones.
But not at the basketball.
No, even in basketball, that'd be questionable in that spot. 7-3-45 to 2-4-16. St Kilda's 29-point lead is restored. 16 played, second term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, there was good pressure, I think, also by the Saints. So it's as bad as that decision was from Steely Green. The pressure from St Kilda, probably for a minute and a half when it was stuck inside their forward 50. They didn't allow Richmond, to take the ball away. It was restart, stoppage, restart, stoppage. So then they get the reward for that pressure.
I could describe Adam Uze's reaction, but I can't send you a transcript. It was not very happy. Now the Tigers are away. Inside attacking 50 this time. Into the forward pocket, sliding in on his knees, Green, and he almost had the goal assist this time. Hill forces the behind. Rush through as he is tracking back, as he has done all afternoon. Brad Hill has had a mountain of it. 2-5-17 Richmond, 7-3-45, 17 played second term, and Hill's away.
Yep, coming up for disposal, number 20, whacks it to the outer side wing. Lefau up among the pack, trying to provide some aerial support. Windhager is ushered across the boundary line. And tossed back in. 28 points the margin away off St Kilda. 17 and a half played second term. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanasius and Marty Vinyl with you. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Australia, Bangladesh 9 for 419 in the cricket. You can access that via the cricket button on ABC Listen. For a call of that first test between Australia and Bangladesh in the top end. Hasty emerges with it. Then got run down by Ralph Smith. Somehow was wave play on, knocked out of his hands at the last moment. Lafau curls it inside forward 50. And again, Travaglia flies into the face of a teammate. This time it's spoiled out of play. So it'll be tossed in deep forward.
Yeah, Stocker in the way that time. Bit slow to get up, but he looks okay.
Chance here for the Tigers. Inside attacking 50. Has been living down the other end in this second term. Toss back into play. Marshall and Lynch doing the ruck work. Came off the shin of Marshall. Kick forward and Stocker's there to cut it off at the top of his defensive goal square. Short kick to Wilkie. And Wilkie to Hill, who has another one coming up here. Hill round the corner, and then he's looking long. Had a bit of a fade on it, that footy, and straight to Brown, who kicks inside attacking 50.
Yeah,
Quick kick is a good kick. And Taranto marks 47 from goal.
Well, he positioned himself really well, Tom Brown, there behind the ball, but I love to play on. So take the mark, then go, because it catches St Kilda's defenders out of position. When you take that mark centre wing and you stop, all it does is just allow the opposition to set up behind the football again. But Brown took the advantage there with nobody on the mark. Got it to Tim Taranto.
Taranto will have to kick 51 right from the paint of 50. Struck that beautifully. Taranto has won this afternoon. 3 now for the Tigers. Margin back to 22 points in favour of the Saints. 7-3 plays 3-5. Let's head downstairs and money.
Dion Presti is about to come back on in a long sleeves Guernsey, so he's changed it a few times now. I think maybe going to sell his last game once.
Yes.
You're onto it, Marty.
That's good, Marty. Dion Presti is just trying to make every post a winner.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, if you can make $1, go for your life, I think. But look, it is chilly. It is chilly. I was hoping you boys were happy to keep the windows closed today, but yes.
Sorry, Rammer.
No, that's okay. We need the atmosphere.
Got to be out in the elements.
That was a terrific kick by Tim Taranto. Outside 50, not known for his long kicking, but covered the distance easily.
14 goals from his 20 games this season. Tim Taranto. Long kick inside from Garcia. G. Owens got upstairs, almost pulled it in. Trainers just scrambled it out of there and kicked it out of bounds on the full. So it'll come back in with some interest here for St Kilda. Richco needed to be quick to man the mark. Windhager almost went straight past him. Windhager's low kick to the edge of the 50 finds Hall. Hall's got to Koning deep forward. Presentations from Higgins and Owens shorter than that. He does go to Koning. Sharman in from the side. Higgins throws a boot at it. He's pushed off the kick right alongside the behind line. It is walked across by Broad, and that 23-point margin. He's back for the Saints. 46 plays 23, 21 year on second term.
Another round of applause coming up as Broad takes the kick in.
For a rush behind this time, mate.
Soak it up, the two of them. Lynch, was he pushed in that contest? No. And Silvani takes the mark. Across half back, he goes to Stocker, who's inside the centre square. He flares it further out wide to Wilkie, who's on the edge, right edge of the centre square this time. And out further wide to Hasty. And to the running man himself, Brad Hill. Looking inside, attacking 50, 60 from goal. Hill just keeps it low, goes long to the top of the goal square. Good punch from Annan. Nice rove there from Houghton as well. Now Green's away. Hand pass was behind Taranto, but he was good enough to take it. Got it to Short. Further wider out still to Green. Rechko kept on running. Receives the footy. Then looks inboard. It was the right idea, wrong in execution. As unfortunately Armstrong wasn't going to get anywhere near that. Stock has it for the Saints.
Stocker to the back edge of the square for Filippo, who plays on immediately to Hall. Hall's going to whip it out wide for Brad Hill, who's all alone on the southern side wing. Brown came to meet him. Hill went around the mark, played on. Then he was called back, and then he went. Kick short to O'Connell. Front edge of the centre square for the Saints. He's got Owens hitting up at the footy. And then reaches over the top. The kick just sat up a moment and didn't allow Owens access to the footy. Spilt to Butler. Now to Hill. Outside the 50 for the Saints. He jabs it inside the arc. Sprawling out after it to mark was Trainer on the second attempt. So an impressive intercept from the young Richmond defender. Comes back to Anand, who's been terrific back there and using his height over the top of Sharman and Owens on a number of occasions. 23-point lead to the Saints. 22.5 gone in the second term.
Might have caught that one with his nose, Luke Trainer. It burst through the hands. Luckily rebounded back to him. Now the Saints looking to get back inside attacking 50, although Broad, lovely pick up off his toes. Out to Rechko. High kick. Hugging the boundary line. Green with an early flight. He completed the mark. No, umpire said play on. It was a good effort, being one of the smallest men out there, and then the kick forward is okay too. Ralph Smith, O'Connell overcommitted. Ralph Smith paddles in front of himself. Inside attacking 50, lost his feet, dragged the ball in. Silvani's there to help the Saints. He kicks around the corner. Numbers here with the Tigers. Retro could have been paid the mark. Big hand pass, or good work by Hasty initially, then might have had his head ripped off. Umpire said play on, Travalia. And now back up towards the wing, but short. Diving in front, takes the mark, and that's a good kick into the middle.
Yeah, creative kick, finds Banks. Centre of the MCG. Fans it wide for Brown, who's marked 65 from home at left half forward.
A shot.
He's got a good shoe on him, Tom Brown. He can send this one pretty deep. The set-up kick. Lynch comes at it. He got two hands to it. To Koning and Windhager compete in the air for the Saints. Spills away to Silvani, who blasted out toward half-back. Trainer cleared the space for Flostone, did so illegally.
That's fair enough, that one. Higgins, no doubt, gave a little bit more that he should there, but Trainer knew what he was doing. He wanted to block Higgins out of that marking contest. Just made it too obvious.
Higgins, one of two former Tigers out there, he and Dan Butler. Now the Saints through Teru to Wilkie. A rare bounce off half-back as he just gallops toward the members' side.
Kicks good too to the chest of Stocko. He's just behind centre wing. He turns and goes quickly. Saw a few things he liked. Oh, Broad, good spoil. Although he lost his footing. Now a chance for Sharman, who kicks inside attacking 50. Guess who's got it again? Owens diving down, marks it on his chest. And he'll line up in the left forward pocket this time. Very similar spot to where he nailed one with a nice snap earlier in this term. 3 goals already for Mitch Owens. 7-4 plays 3-5. And Owens, we're going to have a bit of a break here. Is it a blood rule possibly? Or
yeah, Wilkie. He's got some claret from the right side of the head.
Got too high up the ground. Cal, as he was strolling through half-back.
Altitude sickness.
With a bounce. So wasting no time. Owens around the corner. This time he hooks it too much after perfecting it earlier in the turn. One behind.
And we've finally bowled Bangladesh out.
7-5-47 St Kilda. 3-5-23 the Tigers. 25 played second term.
Josh Hazelwood with 6 for 89, all out 426. So still a commanding lead to the Tigers in the top end.
228 behind the Aussies.
Yikes.
First innings.
Can't win.
Oh, thanks, Maisie.
Bold prediction.
It's the positive in the front row.
Travalia to Hall. Max Hall from inside the centre square. Sends it deep. Sharman. 2 hands to it. Had really good purchase on it. Annan bashed it away last moment. Spills to McRae. Around the body. Oh, Broad had a fumble. That won't get the applause of the Tigers fans. Scooting in was Burns, and he was quickly wrapped up. And we will have a ball up on the front of the goal square. Top of the goal square for the Saints. They've kicked 4 goals in the term. Richmond have kicked 2. 24-point lead the way of St Kilda. Hoping to keep their wildcard campaign hopes alive. Under pressure inside the defensive 50. Here the Tigers try to exit. Lake lays a good tackle and a ball up.
24 points the margin. 26 played second term. Saints it in front. Inside attacking 50. DeConing didn't get a run at it. And Nankervis eventually released the hand pass, only as far as Brown, who spun in the tackle, and we'll have a ball up. Again, inside this right forward pocket, 20 out from goal.
Brad Hill up to 24 possessions in this game. Max Hall, 21.
Hot and dragged off it. Cook just got the hand pass away, but only as far as Broad, who ran through nicely, and hand pass to Prestia, who paddled it to his own advantage, then had to stand over it and win it. He's wrapped up, and the ball up to take place on the paint of 50, about 2 metres inside the boundary line. It's been stuck in this forward pocket for the last minute or so. Closing stages of this second term.
Koenig rises up, knocks it down. There's Dion Prester in the long sleeves, which will be signed shortly after the game and framed.
Don't think he's just gifting it to a supporter?
Possibly. Marnie said he did have some young family members here. As Campbell Lake tosses Sam Banks across the boundary line. It'll be tossed back in, right forward pocket.
How many did Pendles roll through? About 10.
Yeah, something like that.
He had a good go at Pendles.
Just extracted every last cent out of that one. It's Scott Pendlebury, and fair enough too. Ball tossed back in. Inside forward 50 for the Saints. Bit of holding on going on the ruck. Banks chases after it. It skittles past Flosstone. Still in deep in that right forward pocket. The two number ones get tangled up. They can't be split. And another ball up. We are still camped in the right forward pocket at the punt road end.
The magnet down there at the moment. 28 played second term. De Koning over the top, and we'll have another stoppage. This time a boundary throw in. As Lawler sees it out of bounds, running out of room. In his defensive back pocket. Marnie downstairs.
Alex Taru's getting quite a bit of work done on his left thigh. It's getting nice and strapped up, but hopefully we'll see him back soon.
Decent corky, I think, for Taru.
Taccone reached over the top. Now Garcia with a clean possession. O'Connell was pushed off his kick, didn't travel too far. A couple of fists in there. Coming the other way, Trainer did nicely, only as far though as Filippo, who snaps back inside attacking 50. And going to ground was Higgins, and nice mark tracking back by Nankervis. And the kick is okay, coming back the other way too, as Clark takes the mark. Clark, aggressive kick into the middle over the head of Lawler. And this will be a turnover. Silvani, hand pass to Garcia, who just got it away to Hasty, steps inboard and then kicks a high ball inside attacking 50. Big leap from De Koning, punched away from him. Then a big tackle, Trainer in there. It's bobbled back underneath Vloston, and he had no prior opportunity to get rid of that. So we'll have a ball up, still inside attacking 50 here for the Saints. It's lived at this end for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
24 points the margin. John Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas, Marnie Vinyl with you. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. De Koning slaps it down. Burns there for the Saints. Clark almost got dacked as he got his kick away. Only as far as Lake. Lake kicks back to full forward, and Annan floating back with the fly. He's been impressive down there. Hands it off to Prestia at fullback, who hesitated for a moment. Handball to Short, down low to Nankervis, and Short knew he'd made a mistake there, so he went tumbling after the footy. He thought, I did not mean to hand pass it to you, and I'll have to go back and get it myself. And a ball up again. Still Maisie, inside forward 50 for the Saints.
He just wanted another stoppage. Can the Saints clear it this time? Prestia onto it. I said play on. Hall. Back out to Hasty. Now a bit of space to Hill. And Hill kicks a high ball. This isn't going to travel more than 15 metres. Lake made a late run at it. Broad's there. Overruns the footy. Grill in there now. Got the hand pass away to Banks. And then back under a couple of feet. Grill does the shepherding on that occasion. O'Connell now Grill. And back to Broad. Broad scrubbers a kick forward. This is like watching the under-8s. We finished our season last week, my local club, but this is what it feels like. Now back inside attacking 50 from Hill. High ball. No mark taken. Punched away. O'Connell. Now to McRae. McRae, can he find a target? Yes, he can. Higgins has got it. 30 out directly in front. And that's some of the most unforgettable footy, or some of the most forgettable footy, rather, of the season. That last 5 minutes.
Oh, it just wasn't a clean possession or a clean tackle, or it just was scrappy, and it sort of moved sideways rather than any territory and the like, and it just needed a little bit of class at the end, and McRae was able to provide that. I don't think the kick was for Higgins though.
Higgins happy to take it. One behind this afternoon for Jack Higgins, the former Tiger, from 30 out directly in front. That's a shocking kick. It barely made it over the man on the mark. Away to the left, it snuck in for a behind. And you couldn't sum up the first half of footy any better than that. 7-6-48 St Kilda, 3-5-23 Richmond. What can you do but laugh?
Yeah, leaving a little bit to be desired. These two teams, and yeah, when Jack Higgins is doing that, you know it's going a certain way for the Saints at half-time. Mitch Owens has got 3 goals. He is leading the line up front for St Kilda so far in this game. Tim Taranto with a goal in that term, as well as McKelty Lafau for Richmond. But it was tough going for a long time there. The Saints owning territory, maybe not being able to put it on the scoreboard quite as much as they would have liked. 0437 774 774 to fire a question at Adam Ramanauskas in the ABC Sport commentary box. Fran, who's a regular listener, says, thanks for the call. Why aren't these Tigers players playing out the remainder of the season? Is it personal choice? Yeah, it is, Fran. And, of course, last home game today at the MCG. So, wanting to go out in front of the Tiger Army, of course. That's Nathan Broad and Dion Prestia playing their final games in Richmond colours today. Tom Lynch playing game 250. Jack Silvani playing game 150 for St Kilda. And Rama, it is the Saints by 25 points at the half.
Well, and Richmond are lucky it's not more. You look at the numbers. St Kilda have dominated possession, 80 more possessions than Richmond, plus 26 in that first half in contested football. So it's probably just the score. You see there, Jack Higgins misses a really easy one just after the siren. I think what's slightly keeping Richmond in this game at the moment is their pressure probably increased in that second quarter. The game didn't get to many high standards at all in that first half. Mitch Owen was probably the most dangerous player on the ground with his 3 goals. Brad Hill's had 26 possessions in the first half. Max Hall's had 23 possessions in the first half. So Richmond just allowing St Kilda's runners to do as they please. McRae comes back into the team. He's had 16 himself. Mind you, he's only had the 4 kicks. So as much as Richmond's pressure's been better, I think their accountability has been very, very ordinary in this half. So I think that's something that Adam Uze needs to look at at the halftime break. St Kilda just need to be a lot more efficient with disposal. They've had 235 possessions in that first half. As I mentioned, 80 more than the Tigers, but they just haven't been efficient going forward. I think they should have created a lot more opportunity with that dominance in possession. You've got Wilkie sitting behind the ball doing what he wants. He's had 8 marks himself, all of those uncontested. So, Richmond, it's either even the numbers up. They even the numbers up in the first quarter. That second quarter they didn't. They allowed Wilkie to sit behind the ball and control positioning there. Tom Lynch has had 1 handball. Harry Armstrong's had 2 handballs, and Lafau's had 2 kicks. So out of your big 3 key forwards have had 5 possessions.
And Seth Campbell only 4 handballs as well.
You're surprised we haven't seen him more around the footy?
He should. He should be up a lot more around the football because he's got speed. Him and Steely Green, when they do go up around the football, Richmond look a different team. And we did a Richmond game a couple of weeks ago where both had opportunity up around the football. So, look, it was a lacklustre first half, I think, by both teams is the best way to describe it. St Kilda, as I mentioned, probably should be further ahead in this game. But let's see if Richmond can fight their way back in the second half.
You mentioned, Rambo, before the start of the game, you'd be watching the attitude of the Saints coming out. What did you make of that in the first half?
I thought it was okay. I think they're doing enough just to really keep their noses in front at the moment without going, let's kill this game off quickly. And I thought they could have in that first half with their possession dominance. So, even Maisie mentioned a number of times just the mistakes that both teams are making, and St Kilda are probably making more, to be honest with you, than the Tigers. So, look, let's hope for a bit more excitement in this second half, I think.
From a Richmond perspective, Presti's had it 14 times. He's been cheered every time that he's got it so far, but they just haven't been able to find too many avenues to goal.
An interesting stat in this first half, Richmond had one free kick.
Yeah,
now, I get it. Free kicks don't need to be even, but 11-1 in a half of football, that seems a little bit odd to me.
What did Chris Scott call it the other week when it happened to Geelong? It was really strange,
yes.
I think were the words that he used. So maybe the Tigers fans are thinking a little bit the same.
Like, I'm not sitting there going, there's some obvious ones that the umpires have missed on Richmond's behalf, but one free kick and a half of football?
Yeah. Seems a little bit unders, no matter which way you look at it so far for Richmond. So Brad Hill, 26 touches. Yeah. You mentioned that someone should have gone to him perhaps at quarter time. Is that still something that they should be discussing at half time?
Well, absolutely. Well, you've got to take away the opposition's best assets. Now, they're two assets through the middle of the ground. In Hill and Max Hall have had 49 possessions between them for a half of football. And you look down and they're always on their own. They're free. So whether Richmond are playing a system that allows that, or whether Richmond are just being lazy and not finding their direct opponent, that's what Adam Uzo has to answer at half time.
Yep, so Brad Hill, 26, Max Hall, 23, as you say. So 49 between the two of them, as well as 15 marks, all of those uncontested, 10 inside 50s, 11 score involvements and a goal.
So the 15 uncontested marks is the worry. Like, put the possessions to one side. Like, those uncontested marks are all through the middle of the ground. So that's a work rate problem that Richmond are having. Good on Max Hall and Brad Hill for doing that. They're exposing Richmond for what they are at the moment, which is a lazy defensive team.
Yep. And just not quite the required attention to detail for Richmond in this first half. So it's St Kilda by 25 points at halftime, 7-6-48 to 3-5-23. As Ram mentioned earlier, Australia did finally bowl out Bangladesh for 426 in the cricket at the top end. You can get a call of that via ABC Listen. Hit the cricket button. Travis Head and Jake Weatherald now at the crease. That is none for 4 in the second over of Australia's reply, trailing by 224 runs. In the AFLW, it was Geelong by 1 point at quarter time at Docklands. North Melbourne have come out and kicked 4 goals to none in the second quarter and just done what North Melbourne does. So the two-time reigning premiers, winner of 27 games in a row, closing in on half-time in the AFLW, lead at Geelong 6-2-38 to 2-4-16. So we'll keep you close to that throughout the day. Of course, the second leg of that doubleheader at Docklands at North Melbourne and Geelong, you'll be getting here on ABC Sport, as well as the other twilight game, Brisbane and Gold Coast, a little bit later on this afternoon. Saints by 25 points here at the MCG. The Oz Kickers are out there. Time for us to step away before the second half. We'll get you to the latest from ABC News.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Indonesian officials have lifted a tsunami warning after a powerful earthquake and several aftershocks hit north of Flores Island. A spokesperson for Indonesia's disaster management agency said Flores has told the ABC the situation appears to be safe. At least 2 people are believed to have died. The spokesperson says assessments are still being carried out, but there's only been minor damage to buildings. U.S. President Donald Trump is urging Americans to accept higher fuel prices caused by the war with Iran, as he claims the Strait of Hormuz will soon be declared a U.S. territory. Here's the BBC's Daniel Bush.
President Trump says a lot of things. It can be difficult to know when he's being serious, when he's joking. This was a speech that President Trump was giving to a rally of Republican supporters. And in those kinds of moments, President Trump will oftentimes throw out lines that are popular with his base, saying that he will declare the Strait of Hormuz, a U.S. territory. On its face, appears to be absurd. It's not something that we could expect or think might actually happen. So this seems to be an effort by the president to try and rally Republicans ahead of the midterm elections around the idea that he is winning this war with Iran.
Luigi Mangione is admitted to killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City in 2024 and pleaded guilty to federal stalking charges. Here's our North America correspondent, Cayman Gok.
Luigi Mangione spoke calmly and without emotion in court as he admitted to shooting United Healthcare executive Brian Thompson. Now, this brazen shooting took place in December 2024 on a sidewalk in New York and sparked a days-long manhunt to try and track down the now 28-year-old. He has pleaded guilty to 2 federal stalking charges, and in court today, he described how he'd had years-long pain from a broken back and felt that he hadn't received the support or care whilst navigating the insurance system.
Hundreds of people have gathered in Alice Springs today for the funeral of Kumanjai's little baby. The girl's family invited the wider community to join them for today's service, acknowledging the hundreds of volunteers who searched for the 5-year-old when she went missing from a town camp earlier this year. Ahead of the service, the girl's grandfather, Robin Granitz, says it's important for people to come together following the period of cultural mourning known as sorry business.
In our culture way, we used to get together, paint it up, and making sure that you are being there to be help and represent on your family from your communities, and that way we know that we are all connected in culture, coming together, and that's our big culture. Sorry business is the main thing of all things.
Tasmanian Government MP Joe Palmer says 2 wild seabirds found on King Island yesterday have tested positive for H5N1 bird flu. It brings the total number of confirmed cases in Tasmania to 4. A brown skua tested positive to the deadly H5 strain in Tasmania on Thursday, before a crested tern was identified as positive on King Island yesterday. Police say there's still no sign of missing bushwalker Lily Hooper as the search for the 18-year-old enters a 4th day. Search and rescue teams are continuing to scour areas in the southern highlands of New South Wales. Aside from her car, which was found near the Bonham-Pick walking trail on Wednesday, crews are yet to find any further sign of the experienced bushwalker. Police are expected to provide an update on the search later today. Tasmania police say a woman allegedly used an app to deliver coffees laced with an unknown substance to an ex-partner multiple times. Clancy Bunlun has more.
The 43-year-old South Launceston woman has been charged with 2 counts of attempting to unlawfully administer poison with intent to harm. At a media conference this morning, Police Inspector Alina Crack alleged the woman used Airtasker to find a delivery person to send the coffees.
The woman has purchased the coffees herself and then has gained an Airtasker from the Airtasker app to deliver the coffees on her behalf.
Tasmania Police says the alleged victim, a 47-year-old man, did not drink the first coffee and reported it to police, resulting in a months-long investigation. Police say there's no reason to suspect the delivery people had any involvement.
The woman's in custody and is expected to appear before the Launceston Magistrates Court. And in the AFL, the Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast Suns will face off at the Gabba in Brisbane this afternoon for the hotly anticipated Q Clash. The Lions are sitting in 4th spot, while the Suns are at 14th on the AFL ladder. You're up to date with ABC News.
I don't know what we're going to find here.
Discover a vault filled with all the cases, all the crime.
It's dangerous. You don't trust anyone.
Shetland, The Capture, Treasure and Dirt, and so many more.
You can't say I didn't warn you.
Stream now on ABC iView.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Pitches up, hits the bat, hours that out. It's LBW.
Grandstand cricket.
12 months, 20 Test matches, New Zealand at home over summer, the 3 most iconic overseas tours, the 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG.
Driving through the covers and crunching it away to the boundary.
And it starts now with Australia versus Bangladesh.
Big shot the leg before, finger goes up and Cummins strikes.
Listen to every ball live from the top end. On ABC Listen, just look for the cricket button.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Saints by 10. They get the clearance to start. Garcia to Hall. Drives it inside 50. His trainer hanging on to Marshall. He was. And the big Saint will have the free kick. He's strutting into the punt road end, sending it on its way and kicking truly. It's a glorious set shot from Rowan Marshall. Cross an offensive 50 to Garcia, who marks and goes immediately. Sends it up to Marshall. Marshall to Hall, 60 metres out for the Saints. Max Hall swings around on the right boot towards Sharman. Marks, rolls into goal and sticks it through. Prestia, weaves his way through a couple of tackles, then loops the handball forwards. It's Arando again. He pops it over the top to Lawler, centre of the members' wing. Now on to Lynch. Lafau's out the back if they can get it there. Lynch handball back to Lawler. Kicks now to Lafau. And Lafau just needs to finish it off. And does. Left foot kick through the traffic to fall forward. Couple of Tigers fly for it. Trainer over the top. Spilled to late. Logs through. Too much juice on the hand pass. And that's a throw.
That has got to be a throw.
Absolutely a throw. Windhagen to take the free kick and stick it through for the Saints.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Even the highlights were lowlights in a way in that second term. The little throw from Steely Green, one of the more bizarre scenes from that first half. St Kilda by 25 points here at the MCG. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Terrific to have you with us wherever and however you are listening. Reminder, you can get a call of the cricket via ABC Listen. It is 1 for 7. So Jake Weatherall has been dismissed. And it was just a sort of a sigh of resignation in the media centre while we were grabbing a bite to eat at half-time. Andrew Mays, unfortunately, the Aussies have got a big old hole to dig themselves out of.
Yeah, it's a long way back from here. I think I was reading a stat before. No one, I think we've never won a test when the deficit has been more than 208.
Yep.
So they're above that. They're above the threshold. It would have to be history making here, and even harder now. One down.
Yep, it's quite the story if Bangladesh are to get across the line.
What a great story. It's actually a great advertisement for all of the bigger nations continuing to play the smaller nations.
Yes, which it feels like the will hasn't always been there for. It's sort of felt like, unless it's the big three, Australia, India and England playing one another, then, the financial will and the imprimatur from those governing bodies hasn't necessarily been there for those teams to play the lower ranked nations. But with the way that Bangladesh is progressing, and of course Afghanistan's rise, particularly in the shorter formats of the game as well, hopefully we do see more and varied countries coming to our shores the next little while. Of course, tour to South Africa in the next not too distant future. We've got New Zealand, we've got England coming out here for the sesquicentenary test here at the MCG as well. So it's a massive run of cricket. Of course, you'll hear it all here on ABC Sport, but it hasn't started in the best of fashion for the Aussies in the top end. The Tigers and the Saints back out here getting ready for the start of the second half, about 2.5 minutes away. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas and Marty Vinyl with you. Of course, we'll be sending you to Docklands this afternoon for most of our audience. North Melbourne and Geelong still to come a little bit later on as well. Brisbane and the Gold Coast in the Q Clash. Hawthorn and Collingwood is the late game here at the MCG. Port Adelaide and Melbourne also on the docket throughout the course of the afternoon. In the AFLW, North Melbourne and Geelong in action at the moment. It is half-time at Docklands, and the Kangas 6-2-38 lead the Cats 2-4-16. There was only a point in that game at quarter time. It was the way of Geelong. It was 4-0 in the second term. Blaine Bogue, the Irishwoman, the leading goal kicker in the competition last season, has kicked 2 so far for the Roos, and Ash Riddell, the league best and fairest winner with a team high, game high, 19 touches in the opening half there as well. Adam Ramanauskas, what are you looking for when this second half starts, apart from is anyone standing next to 1B Hill?
Well, yeah, and that's the obvious. But I also, what else am I looking for from a Richmond point of view is probably a little bit more synergy forward of the football. We mentioned those names earlier, Lynch, Armstrong, Lafau, Campbell, just minimal impact that they've had in this game. Only 23 inside 50s, so not a hell of a lot of opportunity. But at the same time, get up the ground. Come up the ground. Come and make a contest up on the wings and start to be a nuisance with Cal Wilkie's. As I mentioned, he's taken 8 marks in that first half. Wilkie really without a direct opponent, particularly in that second quarter. So who's going to be a nuisance to make him accountable? Through the middle of the ground, well, it's the accountability factor, I think, for the Tigers. The Saints, on the other hand, really, they can shut the door on this game in this third quarter. So a little bit more efficiency. So they've had the 29 inside 50s and the 13 scoring shots. So they probably just need a little bit more value for money going inside forward 50. But the dominance in possession, the 235 possessions, they've had 80 more than the Tigers. So if they're a bit more efficient, this game will be broken wide open in this third quarter.
The opportunity there for the Saints to take another game wide here against the Tigers. Second half underway at the MCG. St Kilda by 25. Here's Andrew Mays.
De Koning tried to win it down. Windhager has taken in a tackle. We'll have another stoppage right in the middle of the MCG. Bathed in sunshine at the moment, the centre circles, as the shadow creeps over the ground. Nankervis won it down that time. Now his own umpire calls a free kick. It is going St Kilda's way. And Garcia to take the free. Still only one free kick then for the Tigers in this match so far. He goes short to Hall. Another possession for him. Long kick inside attacking 50. Deep entry. Almost the mark to Sharman. Just spilled it at the last moment. He dropped to his knees. And a ball up will take place. Left forward pocket for the Saints. 25 points the margin. Opening minute of this third term.
12-1. Free kick count, which is a statistical anomaly, has walked across the line. Is Banks in the back pocket. 7-6, 3-5 early in this second term. Down Presti with 14 disposals to lead Richmond. Brad Hill 26 for the Saints. Little flip out of the contest by Ross was neat. Coe bangs it a long way up the line. Silvani had hands to it. Lynch in the contest as well. They just haven't been able to get the ball to him so far. Lawler laid a good tackle on Stocker and dragged it all to a stop. In the sunshine, southern side, the Shane Warnstand side of the ground. Here at the MCG, we've alternated between partly cloudy skies and quite overcast skies throughout, but at the moment some blue sky ahead and the sun peeking through on what is still a pretty chilly late winter's day here at the MCG. Rechko's kick down the line's a good one, and Lynch takes his first mark of the afternoon to start this second half. Wheels immediately, kicks to the pocket, close to the boundary. Lafau and Wilkie both there. Campbell's been quiet thus far, as we highlighted at half-time. O'Connell for the Saints, to Hill, to Hall, and now to De Koning as they get out of trouble swiftly.
It was a great kick to De Koning around the corner. De Koning goes short to Garcia and by hand to Hill. And here he was almost intercepted there. It just bounced away from Broad at the last moment. Kick inside attacking 50 from Wilson. Finds Higgins. He's right on the boundary line. Hand passes back to Butler, who kicks inside 50 to the top of the square. Annan with a strong contest over the top. Sharman did the roving that time. Long hand pass is good to Garcia from the top of the square. He dribbles it through. Wasn't all that convincing. But Vlosten wants a replay here. He reckons this skimmed the inside of the post. So he might be doing some checking upstairs. But for the meanwhile, Chook down as a goal. We're going back to the middle.
Well, just waiting on a replay to see. It's a nice kick by Butler, just to square that ball up from the boundary. And Richmond just simply couldn't kill the ball with a spoil. So just getting the replay. Oh, naked eye, it doesn't look like it's hit the post. Or the padding of the post, mind you. I'm sure Snicko will have a look at it, but looks fine to me. He's become a very, very good player, Garcia, this year. He emerged last year, now became a really consistent midfielder for the Saints.
Having an outstanding season, some big numbers throughout the course of the campaign. Having his career best game against the Tigers earlier in the season. Ralph Smith kicks inside the forward 50, and it's an easy acceptance for Stocker. Now Burns inside defensive 50 for the Saints. He comes out toward Windhager in front of the interchange. Let's go downstairs to Marnie.
Sun's out and Presti is back in a short sleeve Guernsey. So on his Guernsey watch, I think we're up to number 4.
Sun's out, guns out for Dion in his final game. We love that. Marshall marks in front of the members, comes in field to Hill, to Windhager. Kick had just enough juice on it to go over the head of Filippo. It was knocked away from Butler. Tigers back in possession. Clark, Banks, Vlosten all by hand inside defensive 50. And then Adams' kick run down. Good pressure there from Sharman. Little kick from Hall. Maybe not the required distance. It goes into dispute. Spills on the deck. Wilson for St Kilda. Now to Windhager. He got tackled strongly. And there is the noise of affirmation for the Richmond fans. Their second free kick of the day. It's the biggest cheer they've had of the day, and they're away with it through Lafau.
They got numbers out wide as well. Long kick from Lafau is good to Rechko. Goes inside attacking 50 and finds Ralph Smith on the chest.
It's incredible how outraged people get by umpires.
Ralph Smith goes short back to Rechko, who's about 53 from goal. He was tucked up against the boundary line, so looking for a better angle. Kicks inside attacking 50. Lawler's there. Was he pushed? Tigers fans pleading for a free kick. They didn't get one. Held to him. We'll have a ball up in his familiar right forward pocket at the Putt Road end.
Saints in defence this time, Maisie. They were in attack when we had about 27 ball ups at this end in the second quarter, and they'll get out of defence immediately. St Kilda. Marshall's going to win the free and get 50 and sprint past big Toby Nankervis. So the Richmond love on the right side of the free kick ledger was certainly short-lived. There's a little bit of a whack-whack for their trouble. Kick up toward Owens, knocked away by Brown, spills out toward the boundary line, can't be kept in. It'll be tossed in between the wing and left half forward for St Kilda. 8:6:54 plays 3:5:23. First goal of this second half. The way of the Saints is to establish a game-high lead in the ball game. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanauskas, Marnie Vinyl with you. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Good to see Campbell up around the footy. Gets the clearance for Richmond. Over the top to Houghton. Green got collected. Wilkie coming back the other way has cannoned into him. Wilkie's come away a bit sore with his right arm. Green bounced back up to his feet. That was a terrific contest from both, Rammer.
Yeah, it was. I love the courage by Green.
And now a chance for Marshall in the ruck, who just grabs it, gives it to Hall, and now to Hill. We've said that a few times this afternoon. Hill across the centre square, and Higgins has left broad for Ted here, who lost his feet. Higgins with a strange kick to the top of the square. Annan dropped the chest mark. Now Miller shrugs the tackle, goes back to Annan, who under no pressure at all, gets it to Rechko, bounced in front of him. Awkward one. Burns is there for the Saints. He hand passes and was pushed over for a boundary throw-in.
That was very strange by Jack Higgins. Yeah, grass in front of him there, and usually when he sees the goals, that's all he sees. But he passed it. Inexcusably passed it.
Put it to the wrong side of the coning. Just off his tucker a little bit today is Higgins. Massive fresh area at that from Campbell. He looked like a can-can dancer just throwing the boot at it. Here is Higgins, who got clipped high by Tom Brown. And so Jack has the chance to make amends. Rowan Marshall's in there for a bit of push and shove in the aftermath as well. It's Jack Ross who's up for a bit of that. And Higgins will get himself to his feet. 35 out directly in front.
Where's this going?
And he might go around the body here. So he'll go from a set start. He's missed a couple badly today. That's no exception.
This started last week in the Carlton game. He had a number of shots, but they're directly in front, 35 metres out. I'm not sure why you're kicking a snap.
Yep. He is all at sea at the moment, is Jack Higgins.
Confidence gone.
8:7:55 the Saints. Richmond 3-5-23. And Jack Higgins is having a little bit of a dirty day in front of goal.
3 behinds for him this afternoon. From the kick in, they work it to the wing here, the Tigers. Stocker with the fist from out the back. Silvani has to jog onto it, has the boundary line for safety, and he walks it over. Umpire says toss that back in, as Lynch was bearing down on him. Ball in to take place right half forward here for the Tigers. They haven't really fired a shot this afternoon. 32 points down, but as Adam Ramanauskas has mentioned, that could be a lot more. Toss back into play. Marshall worked his way to the front. Won it down. Now Campbell kicks inside, attacking 50. Lovely delivery of Lynch too. And he marks in the right forward pocket. Liking the move of Seth Campbell around the footy a little bit more here, Emma.
That's funny what a little bit of speed on the ball does.
Yeah. He's had a couple of good influences in this third term so far. Now Tom Lynch. with a tough task. He's going to start his approach in the gutter here at the MCG. He'll have to kick this all of 47, 48 metres. Just come inside the field of play. Kicks from 47, doesn't quite have the distance, and Marshall's there to knock it through for one behind. First score of this second half for the Tigers. 3-6-24, plays 8-7-55. Margin 31 points, 10 minutes gone.
Stocker brings it in to Wilkie, who directs a little bit of traffic before he gallops off through the back pocket. Directs his kick wide. Ryan Burns marks for the Saints. Come back to half-back before moving it on. Hasty, a Geelong product through the middle of the ground. He's overcooked the kick badly there, looking for Hugh Boxshall. Picked off by Luke Traynor. Now he spreads it wide to Flostone at half-back for the Tigers. Right foot kick long down the line. Measured it nicely in the end for Grill. Dropped into the bucket, and Sam Grill was out after it and used his pace. Marks right half forward, 60 from home. Sends it to the pocket. Lynch, one hand, can't mark. Flipped over the head, almost there for Campbell. Saints back in possession inside defensive 50. Wilkie, Burns, Hill with a little bit of run and pace on the footy. Now to Garcia and McRae. Brad Hill's continued to run. Now he fans his kick in front of the interchange and finds Marshall.
Marshall wants to keep going here. Called to play on. Goes a little wider still to his ruck partner in De Koning, who's at right half forward here for the Saints. And Marshall passed and sprinted forward inside attacking 50. Had a match-up against Floss that he can't believe that his ruck compatriot didn't kick to him. Instead, he went back to Windhager and goes all the way back across half-back and finds Silvani. Silvani out wide to Burns. Now he goes shorter still to left half forward, and here's McRae. So doing this very methodically. A long way home at the moment, the Saints. McRae will just run and pop this high into the forward pocket, almost on the full Sharman. Good set of hands in front of Annan there, who thought it was out of bounds on the full. Nice mark by Sharman, and he'll have a shot from the left forward pocket.
Yeah, he's athletic. I know he's played a lot of football now, but he's still got that spring in his jump. So he takes the mark at the highest point always.
90th game this afternoon for Cooper Sharman from the left forward pocket. Hooks it back a little bit too far, one behind at 8.56. Plays 3-6-24. 12 played third term on ABC Sport. Marnie downstairs.
Alex Tavares still hasn't come back after that corky. He's been doing some runs down here on the boundary, but he's still wincing and doesn't seem like he's going to be out there anytime soon.
Thanks, Marnie. He's had a frustrating season as well. Alex Taru with a bit of injury and a couple of suspensions at VFL level. And Butler got caught Grill with the footy. A former Tiger, premiership player with Richmond, Dan Butler, before he crossed to the Saints. At right half forward. Kicks deep. Owens, Filippo gets out the back. Higgins there, beat Floston to the footy, flicked it up by hand. Boston ended up with the football. Bangs Richmond outside defensive 50. Jack Silvani did what Steely Green should have done before. Didn't throw it. Went upstairs and just flicked it on with two hands. Hill, Silvani. Little pirouette to come back into the middle of the ground by foot to Travalia. He got dragged down by Ralph Smith. Terrific tackle. And it is duly rewarded. And the Tigers are off. Their supporters are happy with another free kick in the column for them. Judson Clark gets on his left boot, sends it inside the 50. Intelligent kick. It bounced horribly for Steely Green. He was the last one back there. It pitched at right angles over his head, and the Saints will bounce it on the counter-attack.
Wilson from halfway over to Hill, who's at left half forward, can go again inside 50 again. Instead opts to go short to Lake, who had time to take it on the bounce. Kicks to the top of the square. One hand.
Lovely.
Oh, just paddled it to his own advantage. Was fending off his opponent and brought it down in his right mitt.
But again, it's Brad Hill involved on that far wing, Shane Warne's side of the ground. He's up to 7 possessions in this quarter. No Richmond opponent within 30 metres of him.
Mitch Owens for his fourth, and he's done it. A shining light up forward this afternoon, Mitch Owens. And he's got a few more in his sights, you feel. Margin extended now to 38 points in favour of the Saints. 9-8 plays 3-6. 14 played third quarter.
So, yeah, no doubt it was a horrible bounce that inside Richmond's forward 50. But you looked at the chain of possession from St Kilda, it's untouched. So you're talking about 35 metres out from Richmond's goal to deep inside St Kilda's forward 50. Untouched chain of possession by the Saints. Good running power again through the middle of the ground. But you just see Richmond trailing. And this is what they're going to work on over a summer, the Tigers. They've got to get this defensive system and structure a hell of a lot more tighter.
Leaking goals at the moment. Back in the middle. Lafau and Marshall, the 2 second ruck options, are in there. Sam Lawler with a little stint on the footy here. Marshall takes it out of the ruck, feeds it out to Garcia, who sprints clear of the contest. He had Grill hot on his hammer. Weaved away from him, kicked to half forward. Owen's the target. Miller there for the Tigers. Scooped up by Lake. Handball to Filippo. He got rid of Grill in the tackle. Back to Garcia. Measures the kick to the edge of the 50. Over the head of Higgins and Brown. And a little flick up to Presti, who was clever. Back to Brown for Richmond. Kicks long up toward the wing on the Shane Warnstand side. Collected nicely by Armstrong, who's been quiet on return for the Tigers. Off to Campbell. Campbell kicks to the edge of the 50. Lynch in the wrestle with Silvani. They both go to ground. They both get back up. Brad Hill's first back there. Of course he is. He's been first to everything throughout the afternoon. Hasty comes away with it for St Kilda. Measured the kick nicely. Garcia's got it on the Shane Warnstand side.
He tells his teammates to slow things down here. Wilkie, he has defensively, and he uses that option. Wilkie now to O'Connell at centre-half back. Thought about the quick movement, opted against it. Instead he goes a little wider to Silvani, right half back. His short kick just lingered a little bit. And Trevally did well to get it on the bounce, rode the tackle and the bump, then kicks up towards half forward. No mark taken. Owens now at ground level, providing a little bit of a threat. His hand pass was good to Butler as well. Released him. Butler on the left. Wonderful snap. Great goal, Saints. Great forward craft from the former Tiger. And another goal for St Kilda. 10-8-68. The Tigers 3-6-24, 17 played third quarter. Adam Ramanauskas, your expert on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, Owen's involved again there. So, gets it at ground level. Just Miller got to lay the tackle, wrap the arms up so the ball can't get out. So it's just too easy. It's a little hand tackle around the hips. Then the ball's in motion. And St Kilda's smaller forwards, and when they can get the ball in motion, they look very, very dangerous. So I've been watching Brad Hill the last couple of minutes. Just who's actually playing on him. And on that occasion, it looked like it was Steely Green who had the job. I think he's come to the bench for a rest at the moment, Brad Hill. But what's he had? He's had the 8th this quarter, so he's up to 34.
He's having an extraordinary season. Had a career-high 42 a few weeks ago against North Melbourne, of course, in a game where Naz had 46 and kicked about 12 goals. Here's the Saints coming out of defensive 50. Tigers got it in there quickly from the stoppage in the middle. Burns back to O'Connell. 44-point lead, a game high for the Saints. Richmond yet to kick a goal in this third term. St Kilda with 3 goals, 2. Geelong and North Melbourne coming up for most of our audience. Brisbane and the Gold Coast for our listeners in South Australia and WA. Of course, all the footy via ABC Listen. Just toggle between the AFL and AFL extra buttons to get the game of choice. Whichever one you're after. Tom Brown kicks a half forward and Campbell rises above Burns and pulls in an impressive mark. He's been good in this third term, Seth Campbell. Now he offloads to the pocket. Taranto! Impressive aerial work from a couple of Tigers. And Taranto had the better of the matchup with O'Connell there, and he's marked tight to the boundary, 35 outright forward pocket.
He is a good mark, Tim Taranto, for a mid.
Kicked one in the second term. Umpire has blown the whistle here. Blood rule Jack McRae is going to have to come off the grounds.
I don't know why the umpire has to take the ball.
No, I don't know either.
Especially when Jack McRae's on the broadcast side, almost at the benches, and there's not many spots on the ground where Tim Taranto would be further away from him here. Anyway, the administration is over. Paperwork done, and we can get on with the footy. Taranto from the pocket. Going to go with the outside of the boot. Cheeky little check side. Slapped through by De Koning. Minor score, 45-point lead, or 43-point lead the way of the Saints now after that minor score to Richmond. Just their second score of this third term. 20 minutes in Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Long kick from Stocker. Goes as far as he can. Up towards right half back. Big punch over the top there from Trainer. Double-fisted. And finds the boundary line right in front of the interchange benches.
One off the text line, Maisie, 0437 774 774. Luke's in regional Victoria. He's chilling in the front yard with his 6-month-old in the rare winter sun, blowing bubbles and tuning in.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Like that.
Toss back into play. De Koning worked his way to the front, down towards Garcia. Went past him. De Koning with the work at ground levels. His hand pass smothered by Prestia. And he finds the boundary line again for another stoppage. Will be tossed back into play. 20 played third quarter. Margin 43 points in favour of the Saints. Thrown back in. Lafau down to Banks, who snaps, and nice mark by Houghton, who releases Prestia. What about this for a moment? A good farewell for Dion, not quite. Way to the left for one behind. 3 goals, 8 now, the Tigers. 10-8. The Saints, and even 7 goals the margin. 21 played third quarter.
Wilkie doesn't see a lot that he likes from the kick in. Thought about Trevelyan short, and he stabbed it straight to Lynch. Couldn't have picked him out any better if he tried. He was going out to the left. He came back to the right. He didn't want Toby Trevelyan on the short. And he just put it straight down the throat of Tom Lynch, 35 out.
A rare error for Cal Wilkie. Such a good decision maker. You just got caught in two minds.
And Tom Lynch, who's had a quiet day thus far for the Tigers, can stroll in game 250. And he sends it on its way. And he leaves it away to the left-hand side. 3-9, 27 Richmond. Saints 10-8, 68. 41-point margin, 22 played. Third term.
Stocker with the kick-in duties again, and Dooley runs into the back pocket, then kicks as far as he can. Hill just came off the interchange bench. The sport came towards him. That's how well he's going at the moment. And he's tackled to the ground. Ball held up. Green resumes his duties running with him. From the stoppage. Nice mother there by Higgins as Nankervis tried to hand-pass to a teammate. Ricocheted to De Koning, who kicks forward. Now to Hall. Can he keep this in? Not quite. Right. Bounds on the full.
It's the right idea there, Maisie.
A smart kick in front of Sharman there, but just ran out of real estate, and it'll be a Tigers free kick. Short kick comes to Taranto. And then Taranto is going to retreat further inside defensive 50 to Vlosten, who's going to change things up to the Shane Warne side of the ground.
Brown had to shield his eyes from the sun. Almost lost the ball in flight. Gathered it up, kicked down the line. Did Grill get a hand on that? No, he did not in the end.
He had today, Grill. 2 kicks, 6 handballs, just the 8 touches.
Fairly quiet for the Tigers in his first season. Kicked down the line looking for Garcia of St Kilda. He's thumped out by Brown. It'll be tossed back in.
And you're looking, that's what you're looking for at the Tigers. You're looking for those pieces of encouragement for, moving into the future. So I'm sort of sitting there today looking and I'm going, there's not much in terms of their younger players that have really stood out at the moment.
Even Houghton has had 11 disposals, but only 2 kicks out of those as well. So they're just not getting any room to operate in. Rechko from the stoppage. He bangs it long. Armstrong hasn't had a look at it today. Made the contest there, brought it down, but only as far as Hill, who sends it back the other way for St Kilda with disposal number 35, but it's cut off by Dion Prestia. Who's going to start the chain for Richmond by going defensively to the edge of the 50 for Miller. Saints by 41 points, 24 and a half gone. Third term. Miller sends a high footy wide to the outer side. They all jump up. Houghton had a couple of goes at it. Got it away to Lafau. Stabbing kick inside the forward 50. Armstrong the target. Silvani well opposed to him. Won the footy, Jack Silvani. Tried to flip it up to Wardhill. Eventually he emerged with it in the end. And he found O'Connell on the short for the Saints at half back.
Thought about going quickly, and that's just lazy running here. I think
it's going to be 50.
Grill just drifted into the protected zone there. He's about to switch play. So the 50 could have brought him all the way up to halfway. He opted to kick earlier. It's a haul. And now the run comes from Travaglio, received the free kick, goes into the pocket with a long kick over everyone's head. Miller dropped the chest mark, then he was tackled, held to him. Stoppage should take place right forward pocket. Saints move that quickly through the middle. 10-8-68, plays 3-9-27. 25 played in the third quarter. Garcia does the roving, hand passes to space more than anything at the top of the goal square. Out to meet it was Owens. Couldn't gather the bouncing footy. Now Vlosten with a quick kick. It's smothered on the way through. Might be a bit of room here for Wilson, who snaps towards goal, but he misses to the right-hand side. 10 goals, 9 now the Saints. 3-9 the Tigers. 7 goals the difference. 25 played third quarter.
Race a run of 4 consecutive Richmond scores. All of them were behinds. The Tigers trying to build something off half-back. Ross bangs it as far as he can down the outer side. In fact, Jaden Short it was who gave it an almighty whack. Steely Green is the beneficiary of a mark. He can move it inside the forward 50. Drifting down the field and taking an impressive mark is Ross. Ross has got numbers on. Here's a great chance coming up for the Tigers. Banks, handball to Lafau, made him earn it. Lafau's tackled in the goal square. And they've sold themselves out of a certain goal, Richmond. Banks tried to do the team thing. His handball was at the bootlaces of McKelty Lafau, who was tackled immediately. And what could have been an absolute tap-in for the Tigers has turned into a Saints free kick, and they're waltzing off half-back.
He receives the free kick, takes a bounce, strolls in the Saturday sun here at the MCG. Long kick forward, going back with the fight. Blockshaw almost took the mark. Hand pass forward to Higgins, and now to Butler, who just kept it inside. He's inside attacking 50, retreats to Higgins to the top of the square. Owens created the contest. Banks there. Hand pass is okay, though, to Broad. Couple of dummies. And then out wider still to Trainer, who tried to measure his kick to the run of Prestia. Just overcooked it a little bit. Now a chance for the Saints. Windhager, hand pass is okay to Philippou to 55. Now a short pass inside is okay to Lake, who thought about the snap towards goal. That's only travelled about 20 metres, and then mark dropped by Short, who panicked. He had to kick quickly just to clear the danger zone, and then spoil over the top is okay from Ralph Smith, and he finds the boundary line about 70 around from the St Kilda goal. Let's head downstairs, Money.
That last missed certain goal was a bit too much for Adamuze, who had to actually walk off field for a minute. He just went down to the rooms, took a breath, and then came back out.
Probably fair enough, I reckon. It's, you can easily sympathise with the Richmond coach at the moment. Deconing at the stoppage to Hall to Owens, who takes it on the bounce, spins on the left. Mitch Owens has 5. He is putting on a show up front for St Kilda. 5 goals, 1 for Mitch Owens. And the Saints lead by 8 goals, 11-9 to 3-9, nearing three-quarter time. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and Mitch Owens is giving us a look at all his wares, Adam Romanowski.
Yeah, and all his tricks as well, because he's taken some marks inside forward 50 to kick goals, but there's that ground level. And I think that's why I spoke earlier in the game about how dangerous he will be of a matchup when they do get genuine key forwards playing regularly in this team. So, Max Hall was involved in that passage of play again around stop. He's up to 33 possessions himself, so he's having a big game. But they just don't have an answer at the moment, the Tigers, for Mitch Owens.
They resume hostilities in the centre, and it's De Koning winning it out. High ball, inside attacking 50. Good mark going back with the flight. Vlosten did extremely well. He wants to go quickly by foot. Nice body work there by Stocker. Just got rid of Ralph Smith. Strolls onto his left. Kicks inside 50 over the head of Higgins. Vlosten's there. Just got the hand pass away. Looking for Broad. Nice fend off as well. Bought himself a little bit of time, Broad. Then kicks a low darting ball through the hands of Hill of the Saints. Boxall's there. He retreats by hand to the wing where Silvani has it. And hand passed out wide, but Siren beat that possession. So three-quarter time here at the MCG. St Kilda 11-9-75, leading by 48 points. The Tigers 3-9-27. Mitch Owens has 5. He has been the absolute standout forward of this match. All other goal kickers are singles. Windhager, Butler, Marshall, Garcia, Hall and Sharman for the Saints. And just the 3 individual goal kickers for the Tigers, Ross, Taranto and Lafau, after they failed to kick a major in that third term, Joel.
Yeah, 4 goals to none in that term. Career best 5 for Mitch Owens as well. He had 4 on a couple of occasions heading into today. But he's now got a career best with 5 goals to three-quarter time. And it is St Kilda well and truly in control, up by 8 kicks, 11-9 to 3-9. On the other side of this, we'll get a preview of the Kangaroos and the Cats under the lid at Docklands. We'll cast an eye to Brisbane and the Gold Coast as well. And, of course, the final quarter here at the MCG. Saints by 8 goals. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Alan Jones was a broadcasting powerhouse. Now he's in court fighting charges of indecent assault and sexual touching. To follow the trial, what's alleged and how it's challenged, search for the Case Of podcast on ABC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Wilson finds Higgins. He's right on the boundary line. Hand passes back to Butler, who kicks inside 50 to the top of the square. Annan with a strong contest over the top. Sharman did the roving that time. Long hand pass is good to Garcia from the top of the square. He dribbles it through. Wilson from halfway over to Hill, who's at left half forward, can go inside 50 again. Instead opts to go short to Lake, who had time to take it on the bounce. Kicks to the top of the square. One hand.
Lovely.
Oh, Mitch Owens for his 4th, and he's done it. A shining light up forward this afternoon, Mitch Owens. Trevally did well to get it on the bounce, rode the tackle and the bump, then kicks up towards half forward. No mark taken. Owens now at ground level, providing a little bit of a threat. His hand pass was good to Butler as well. Released him. Butler on the left. Wonderful snap. Great goal, Saints.
De Koning at the stoppage to Hall to Owens, who takes it on the bounce, spins on the left. Mitch Owens has 5. He is putting on a show up front for St Kilda.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Quarter to play at the MCG. St Kilda 11-9-75. Lead Richmond 3-9-27. A career best 5 goals for Mitch Owens here at the MCG. A full slate of games today across men's and women's footy. There are 4 more men's games to come in this round 23. 3 women's games as well today at Docklands. It is North Melbourne who trailed by a point at quarter time early in the last. They lead by 53 points. It has been a domination from the Kangaroos, doing as they please, looking for a 28th consecutive victory. That is the first leg of a doubleheader at Docklands. The Kangas and the Cats doing battle in the men's as well. To preview that, let's say a very good afternoon to Lauren Borden. Hello, Loz.
Oh, hello, Joel. Yes, I'm watching North Melbourne in front of me, absolutely dominating Geelong. Vicky Wall just had a shot at goal and could have put the margin even further ahead. But an absolute domination from the reigning premiers in terms of the AFLW match. Of course, another doubleheader at Docklands. And for North Melbourne and their men's side, well, they need to follow on from something they achieved against the Western Bulldogs last week in defeating a side that they hadn't defeated in their 9 previous meetings. It's a little bit more difficult when it comes to Geelong today. Their winning run against the Kangas is 15 consecutive matches that stems all the way back to 2016, and the wins have come by an average of 49 points in that time. They last met in round 8 though, and that was down at Kardinia Park. The margin there was just 11 points at the very beginning of that 4th term, but unfortunately for the Kangaroos, from that moment onwards, Geelong just put the foot down, 5 goals in very quick succession, and that was the end of the game there when it came to North Melbourne's chances. So it was an excellent final term, though, for North Melbourne last week against the Dogs. So Al Clarkson will be hoping they can stay in the game for that little bit longer today against Geelong. It's the Cats' only game at Docklands this season. They regain Paddy Dangerfield from a hip and a groin issue that he's been battling across the last couple of weeks. And Mitch Edwards returns. He was rested after winning the Rising Star nomination a couple of weeks ago. So he is back into the side. Of course, North Melbourne, slim hopes of making it into the wildcard rounds, but they remain a mathematical chance. And the carrot for Geelong is a top 6 finish that could be on the card. So that's where it sits for North Melbourne and Geelong today. Boomer Harvey and Mick Moldhouse to join me, as well as Chris Rowbottom. And Razor Ray Chamberlain will be on the boundary for us at Docklands today. That's for most of our audience. If you're in South Australia and Western Australia, it's Brisbane and the Gold Coast that'll be coming your way. David Noble will be making his commentary debut in the ABC box. So that's an exciting one to happen for South Australia and Western Australia, who are heading to Brisbane and Gold Coast. But most of your audience are coming from you, Joel, across to us at Docklands.
Beautiful, Loz. Thank you. Of course, an unchanged Brisbane team going into that game as a top 4 team, and the Suns just trying to get some late season consolation prizes on their way through the end of this campaign. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Marty Vinyl and Adam Ramanauskas here at the G. And Rama, the Saints just on their merry way.
Yeah, they are 4-0 in that third quarter, and look to be doing it quite easy. You look now at the 2 Richmond retiring players in Prestia and Broad. They've got basically 30 minutes of a career remaining. So what do they want to get out of it? What do their teammates feel for them? Can they dig in one last time and try and make a last quarter of it to try and make it somewhat special for those guys? So I mentioned Brad Hill, I mentioned Max Hall, both well on track to have 40 possessions in this game. Hill's had to 35, Hall's up to 33, so they're going along nicely.
All-time St Kilda record, 47.
Yeah, it's in sight, I think. So
it's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
It's in the ballpark. Brad Hill is just about on pace. Final term underway at the MCG. The final quarter of Nathan Broad and Dion Prestia's careers as Tigers as well. And guess who finds the footy immediately off the first stoppage? Brad Hill, 36. We'll just keep counting them up. Off to Max Hall, 34. They've had 70 between them. Any danger of putting a hand on them, Tigers? Lake, back to Hall. Right half forward for St Kilda. Squaring kick to the top of the goal square. Off hands. Higgins will walk it in. And even in a day filled with ignominy, Jack Higgins is still in the right spot at the right time. Never goalless against Richmond before today. He won't leave this one without a major to his name. And it's a 54-point lead to the Saints at the start of the last.
Well, he could have missed that one, Jack Higgins.
You don't reckon?
No, that was a soda. And as Jack Higgins has kicked that goal, we've lost our second wicket in the cricket. So I think that's Travis Head, by the looks of it, who's out. So, but it was just great crumbing, I think, there by Higgins off the front there. His direct opponent, Luke Traynor, loses contact with him. Higgins is just able to stroll into an open goal. So very, very simple there.
Back in the middle, De Koning won it down. Lawler running through. Spurts out to De Koning, and in fact it was thrown out to De Koning, so it'll be a free kick for the Tigers, and Prestia to receive it. Hand pass quickly to Banks, who loads up. Long kick inside attacking 50. Lafau tried to get there, it fell short. And standing in front of the pack was Tom Lynch coming through. Rare highlight forward for the Tigers this afternoon. And Tom Lynch will line out from 30 out, as good as directly in front.
Just been a part of his game that's deserted him. Really, Tom Lynch, this set shot for goal. No, we still know he can mark it, but it's become really hard for him, these set shots.
One behind this afternoon for Tom Lynch. This for his first. He's kicked off the in-stem. It swings back though, and it's okay. And the Tigers answer the Higgins goal. Margin back to 48, which it was at three-quarter time. We've played 3 minutes rather in this final term.
And I mentioned Tom Lynch and just his finishing this year. What's he?
17-24.
Yeah. So he had that game really early in the year against Carlton where I think he kicked 1-7 or 1-8 or something like that.
And a couple out on the full.
Yeah,
that one
so...
too.
But he just doesn't look confident over the ball anymore on a set shot. So there, you're 30 metres out, virtually directly in front. That's what you're paid to do, to kick those goals. But even there, it didn't look like a pure strike of the ball on his foot, but it gets the result.
Steered it through. Question on the text line 0437 774 774. Rammer, do you think Jack Silvani's become a better player at the Saints?
Oh. Look, he's had a pretty strong year as a key defender, Jack Silvani.
Game 150 today. Imagine he wouldn't be miles off an All-Australian squad. Of course, that'll be 46 players this year. And it'll all be sorted not long after round 24. The majority of that based on the first 23 rounds of the season. It's an interesting little development in how the All-Australian team's going to be picked.
What if you keep 10 in the last round?
Well, I think, yeah, I don't even hazard to know how that's all going to work, Maisie. Above my pay grade, and I'm glad about that. Short to Campbell, kick in field, knocked away. Saints in possession. Owens rises inside forward 50. Miller, a timely hand in to knock it away. Now Trainer off halfback, got it from Banks, kicks out wide. Windhager reaches over the top of Rel Smith, gave it to Sharman, got it back. High kick inside the 50. Owens from the back. Hand to it. Can't mark. Short's there to collect. 20 out from the Richmond defensive goal. Hand pass to Trainer. Fumbles it over the boundary line. And then copped a little bit of physical pressure in doing so. And it will be a free kick going against Jack Higgins. So even with the little tap in, he still had a pretty dirty day at the office. A frustrating one, Jack Higgins. And Luke Trainer to take it in the right back pocket for Richmond.
Goes to his defensive goal square where he has Miller. Miller looking for options further downfield. He'll sink his shoe into this one. It's an absolute wobbler. That's a helicopter. Good luck marking that. Windhager front and centre. Hand pass over the top. Didn't quite make clear contact, and it's out of bounds inside attacking 50 for the Saints. So it's been all St Kilda this afternoon. It was a scrappy opening term. They led by 10 points at quarter time, 25 at half time. And have put the foot down in their second half. 48 points currently the lead, which was at three-quarter time. Prestia with a clearance. Hand pass to Houghton. Houghton round the corner. Probably should have been a mark to Brown. They've paid chop in the arms. The Richmond fans are pretty happy about that as well. And then Brown, lovely kick. Straight up the middle. That's as good as it gets. And Grill takes the mark. 47 from goal, almost directly in front.
That's his second one. Tom Brown. So he hit Taranto in the second quarter with a similar kick, similar position. He is a beautiful kick of the football, Brown.
So Grill spins the footy in his hands. One goal in his season so far. This for his second in the big time. He'll kick from 51, lays into it. That looks pretty good. It's got the journey as well. Lovely kick from the young man. A glimpse into the future for the Tigers. Margin back to 42 points. Richmond 5-9-39. St Kilda 12-9-81. 6 minutes played, final term.
It was good movement. So it's half back, then into half forward. So Brown got the free kick. And it's head straight up, looking inboards rather than down the line. As soon as you change the angle there on that kick, it forces St Kilda, who had numbers down the line, to try find direct opponent, but kick was too good, and then Grill was able to finish.
8th pick of the draft last year, Sam Grill. 2 goals, 4 on the season for him. 20th game today, so we'll have only missed the 2, provided he plays next week. Solid debut campaign. Lawler overran it back in the middle. Garcia gave it to Tom de Koning, coming streaming off half back. Banged it inside forward 50 and to his fellow headbanded Kai Anand, who offloads to Banks and now to Short. Foston inside defensive 50. Marks in front of Premiership teammate Dan Butler. As the Tigers just knock it around in the defensive half. 42 points is the margin. The way of St Kilda. North Melbourne and Geelong for most of our audience still to come. Gold Coast, Brisbane for those in South Australia and WA. A little bit later this afternoon on ABC Sport. Of course, you can get the cricket via ABC Listen as well. The Aussies 2 for 40. Smith and Marnus Labuschagne at the crease. Long kick to half forward. There's a mark paid in all of that. Or is it a ball up in the end? Umpire came running in and said, no, it is a ball up. So right on the edge of the 50 for the Saints.
Tossed up. De Koning won it down. Off to Boxall, who's looking to get out of the tackle. He only just got boots a ball. O'Connell becomes the tackler. Socket back towards Travalia, who did well enough. Taru's back on the ground. Hand pass through his hands. Straight to Nankervis. He's tackled. And we'll have a ball up 40 from the Richmond goal. 5-9 plays 12-9. St Kilda well in control here at the MCG. Plenty of footy coming up on ABC Sport. And, of course, the cricket all day as well. De Koning on hands and knees from the stoppage. It's a push in the back, and it's going the way of Nankervis. So Big Nake to take the free kick. He'll have to kick this all of 50 metres. He kicks inside, attacking 50, and mark taken by De Koning, his direct opponent.
He's not being helped up. Just noticed Nathan Broad just drifting down inside forward 50 as well in that entry, Maisie.
Get it to him.
I'll just be looking for one for the road as he sails off into the sunset of retirement. One kick outside the defensive 50 for the Saints. Marshall had a hand in there. Lawler picked it up, flicked it into dispute, and a ball up. Centre of the southern wing. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays, Adam Ramanaskis, Marnie Vinyl with you on ABC Sport. Saints 81, Richmond 39. St Kilda keeping their slim wildcard chances alive. They'll need Carlton to lose out. The Saints need to win out to make a surety of it. Turnover here. Saints in possession. Butler, Boxall, back to Butler. Cuts a diagonal line as he hand passes to Garcia. Garcia goes back outline to Hill. Disposal number 37 coming up for Hill, who just stood there and just knocked the handball back to Garcia. And now to O'Connell in the centre of the ground for the Saints.
It's like he finished training. He was going home for the evening. Kick back to Taru in the middle of the MCG. He goes into the forward pocket. Long kick as well. No mark taken. And then quick tackle on short ensures he's going nowhere. Ball up to take place directly in front, about 20 metres from the Saints' goal.
I'm just looking at Brad Hill. He's had the ball 37 times and still nobody's near him.
He's had a day out, Brad Hill. Not quite get the record. What's he up to? 47 was the Saints' record. He needs another 11 still to break that on 37 at the moment. McRae on hands and knees. Quick kick out of the congestion from Higgins. It bounces on the behind line. Who wants to go and grab it? Ralph Smith does. His kick just good enough to get to Green, who can go quickly. He's got a couple of players outside. One of them's pressed here. And then further afield to Brown, who's now got Lafau in a bit of an acre of space at right half forward.
So Lafau looks up. He's got Lynch leading deep toward goal. Sends the kick in that direction. Campbell's there for ground level representation. Bounces on its end inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Campbell takes it at ground level. Flick the handball up. Broad's inside forward 50. He got tackled immediately. He doesn't know what to do up there. Nathan Broad just drifting down the ground. 4 goals in 192 games. He got tackled by McRae as soon as he got it, and he runs straight outside the forward 50. He'll just sit off the back of the stoppage. De Koning reaches up, down to McRae. Wobbles his kick outside the defensive 50 for the Saints. Annan couldn't take it cleanly. Garcia threw a couple, caught by Lafau. Free kick Richmond, holding the footy. 65 out from goal. Big McKelty can find something inside the arc.
Goes into the forward pocket. Campbell's in a one-on-one, but good luck. And there's a bit of covering defence coming over the top. Taru knocks that right deep into the stands, and we'll have a ball in 30 around from the Tigers' goal. Players gather deep inside attacking 50 and just looking for Nathan Broad. He's just at the top of 50 here if one comes out the back. Lynch doing the ruck work. Lovely dummy. Got the hand pass away to Ross, who fell over at the most inopportune time. Boxall over the top, taps it to the advantage, and now Travalia out wider still to Burns. High kick is okay, and he'll find Hill. Oh, no, he didn't. Just dropped it at the last moment. Oh, lovely work by Clark. Burst onto it. What about this? It's across the face of goal. Kept him not quite by Green. Went the running banana there, which is a pretty low percentage kick, but why not try when you're 7 or 8 goals down?
Ball will be tossed back in. Right forward pocket. Marshall comes across to the front of the pack, slaps it down. Taranto had it spilled through his hands. McRae, Boxall, Windhager in defence for the Saints. Kicks clear of the defensive 50. Higgins has come a long way up the ground, got clipped high. And Jack Higgins will take a free kick from right half back. Little one over the top to Dan Butler, out of contract at the end of the season, Dan Butler. Only played the 8 senior games. He's been operating in the VFL for a good chunk of the season. In the AFLW at Docklands, North Melbourne now lead by 72 points after trailing by a point at quarter time. 15-9-99 to 3-9-27. Since quarter time, it's 13 goals to 1. That is quite the statement from the 2-time reigning premiers, who aren't going anywhere soon and are going to romp to a 28th consecutive victory. Richmond's AFLW team gets Collingwood later today, the Gold Coast and the Western Bulldogs, as part of a massive slate of footy on this Saturday afternoon. Hasty for St Kilda. Now to Stocker at left half forward, just outside the arc. Sharman, Filippo have both drifted down there. Kick to a central position. Higgins rises, knocked away from him. Stepping through the contest was Banks. Handball away to Ralph Smith, to Miller, along the boundary line. Ralph Smith and Travalia keep it in. And then Angus Hasty is walked across right in front of Toby Nankervis on the Richmond bench. Boundary umpire will spin it back into play. Saints by 42, halfway gone in the last.
No score in the last 8 minutes of this one at the MCG. Toss back into play. Left half forward here for St Kilda. Foul doing some ruck work. Ross at ground level on hands and knees. Got it out nicely. Swung in the tackle was Ralph Smith. Could have been Ping for holding the ball. Umpire wave play on. Back under a couple of sets of feet. Windhager the tackler. And we'll have another ball up. Still here at left half forward for the Saints.
It's fizzing.
Sure is.
To real junk minutes at the moment.
Tossed up. The foul. Now there's a holding free kick that is going Richmond's way. And it's Ross to take the free kick. And right half back for the Tigers. Called to play on. Garcia hasn't noticed who's on the mark. Eventually he goes as far as he can. Lynch on a strong lead. Couldn't take the mark. Stocker front and centre. Well done by Green. Popped up in front of the pack, but then missed his boot on the way down. Chalk up another 2 for Brad Hill as he works the 1-2. The cross half back kick is good, and he finds Butler. Butler at right half back. Just walking, literally walking through right half back. Could have sat on the footy and no one come near him. He goes wider and finds Travalia, who could go back to Butler, who hasn't moved. That's exactly what he does. And this is slowing down to walking pace.
Butler through the centre. Garcia and Grill collide. Grill and Garcia brought it down. Hugo Garcia saw after that collision. And then he wants to go on with it a little bit with Sam Grill as well. Brad Hill came in to support that endeavour. Hill up to 40 touches now. He and Max Hall with 75 disposals between them. Make it 76 as Hall receives it from Butler. Daps the kick on over the top intelligently. Butler almost had to trap it between his legs. Slipped through the tackle of Broad. Waltzed inside the 50 from 45 metres out. Kicks a brilliant goal. And turns to the crowd. Majority in yellow and black at the Punt Road end. He would have celebrated a little bit more feverishly than that once upon a time. And Dan Butler's got 2 goals on return to the top flight. And the Saints have an 8-goal advantage. 13-9-87 to 5-9-39. 17 played. Final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Adam Ramanauskas.
Just 2 Tigers there. Annan and Broad missed the tackle on Butler. He's able to just waltz in and kick a pretty regulation goal for him.
Is it too fine a point to put on it that Dan Butler would be one of those players maybe playing for his career out of contract at the end of the season?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that would definitely be the case. So he hasn't played a lot of footy this year, obviously, for the Saints. So, yeah, this next couple of weeks will be important.
Marshall, nice bit of ruck work. Run it down to Filippo. Kicks inside attacking 50. And Broad takes the mark. The chest mark coming out. Almost trademark for Nathan Broad under those high balls. Goes the hand pass. Now to Taranto. Kicks to left half forward. No mark taken by Lynch. Punched away from him. Knocked to the advantage of Grill. Got away from him though. Hall was there before he could get a hand pass away. Grill had him. Ball up to take place at left half forward for the Tigers. 48 points the margin in favour of the Saints. Andrew Mays and Joel Peterson calling it for you this afternoon. Adam Ramanauskas, your expert, and Marnie Vinyl on the boundary. Philippou from the clearance. Hand pass to Hasty. Hand pass to Marshall, who goes off his left. Spotted something out the corner of his eye. It was Owens. It might travel this all the way to the boundary. In fact, it does. Oh, no, just touched at the last moment. And so it won't be a lasso turnover ball. It'll be a ball in between wing and right half forward for the Saints.
Two rucks just handball over. Lafau and Marshall. Umpire flings it back into play. Burns is after it for the Saints. Flipped it up to Marshall. Hands and knees stuff for him as he fed it forward to Garcia by hand. Right half forward for the Saints. Garcia kicks inside the 50. And it's a nice bit of delivery. And Mitch Owens, who has 5, a career high. And Michito will look for number 6. Five goals, 1 on the afternoon. Saints up by 8 kicks before he strikes it. 50-metre kick, 10 in from the boundary at right half forward. Mitch Owens sends it on its way. Looking for a 6th. Not quite. And it misses away to the right-hand side. 5 goals, 2. Still a very healthy return. 13-10-88 to 5-9-39. 20 minutes played in the final term as Nathan Broad brings it back into play.
And he goes to left half back, but no mark taken. Hill was there to run interference for the Saints. Now back into congestion. Butler, the tackler. And he takes Campbell down at the last moment. Ball up to take place inside the centre square. Umpire clears a path. Up. De Koning. Over the back. Only as far as Prestia, though, who hand passed forward, and he found Burns of the opposition, and the Saints man is taken to the ground. No prior opportunity. Ball up to take place right on halfway, just near the centre circles. De Koning and Nankervis again. This time, Nankervis won it down. Oh, lovely mark from the Taranto kick. Taru just positioned his body beautifully and took it on his chest. He goes to Wilkie in the right back pocket. Wilkie short to Hill, through his hands. A chance here for the Tigers at the top of 50. Clark out wider. Slipping at the last moment, was hot and should be holding the ball. It was. Advantage paid. Another possession to Brad Hill, who kicks and walks.
They're the ones that Richmond just need to capitalise on.
41 for Hill, 37 for Hall, who he gave it to. Turnover in the middle of the ground. See if they can make something of it this time, Rammer. Prestia out wide for Ralph Smith. And now hitting up is Green.
I say that you force a forward half turnover.
Green kicks inside forward 50. Taru. And now Burns coming out of the back half for the Saints along the boundary line. Neat kick finds Boxall.
Like the St Kilda defenders are all out of position. And then it's one too many handballs. It just invites pressure.
Boxall kicks down the line through the hands there of Annan. Spills to McRae for the Saints. Off the Hall. Disposal number 38 inside the 50. And Wilson lengthening back to goal. Takes the mark. Thought about centering it up. Called to play on. Pops it over the top. And Sharman was left all alone in the left forward pocket. And so the mark to Cooper Sharman, who can bring it around the corner. Looking for his second goal of the contest. to push it out to a 55-point margin. Sharman does just that. 2 for Cooper Sharman. And the Saints trying to stretch their legs the deeper this game goes. 14-10-94 to Richmond 5-9-39. 23 played final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas.
Look, I know I'm labouring on the point with Richmond, but it's happened to them too often this season where opposition are able to take the ball the length of the field. So it's a similar story with Essendon as well with their defending. So defending when the ball turns over in your front half becomes critical behind the football. So there, it's St Kilda win the ball deep in Richmond's forward line, and then it's basically 3 and 4 kicks to Darcy Wilson. Then you look up again and there's another free player. So like the defensive transition running and defensive system for Richmond just simply isn't there, or it's simply not improving.
De Koning down to McRae, who was taken in a strong tackle, held to him. Secondary ball up to take place. De Koning, lovely tap down to Hall, off to McRae by hand. Wobbles the ball inside attacking 50, hits the chest of Broad on the bounce. Still good enough to get the hand pass away. Short, that's a good kick to Prestia. Prestia kicks inside attacking 50. Stocker just got a fist in there at the last moment. Lafau should run in, kick the goal, and he does. Sockers it through for his second. And Richmond with a bit of nourishment late here. Answering 2 in a row from the Saints. Margin back to 49 points in favour of the Saints. 6-9-45 plays 14-10-94. There's a little over 4 minutes left in this final term.
I was hoping Prestia was going to run into the goal there. He had a bit of space in front of him, but he went for his old mate in Tom Lynch. It's great courage by Stocker to get the arm in. But then Lafau just had a couple of metres separation on Alex Tauru, who's come back from that bad cork. He missed a lot of the third quarter. He's been able to play this last quarter out.
Back to 49 points the margin. 4 minutes left in this one. Up in Darwin, Australia 2 for 44. Trailing by 184 runs in the test match against Bangladesh. Broad up to Lafau, who presents strongly. Mark 75 out at right half forward. Lynch the target, nudged under it by Silvani. Spilt to the back, and Clark's escorted across the boundary line by O'Connell. And the ball will be thrown back in. Deep forward for Richmond, city end of the ground. A few spectators filing out toward the exit. Crowd of 35,850 here at the MCG today. 2 games in the twilight. North Melbourne, Geelong at Docklands, Brisbane and the Gold Coast at the Gabba as well. You can get both of those via ABC Listen. Ball's dragged back underneath the pack, and we'll have another ball up inside forward 50 for the Tigers.
Thrown up. De Koning just monstered Lynch out of the way there. Won the clearance, kicked it forward. Sharman, good double grab. That's a good mark. Coming the other way was Ralph Smith, who thought he touched it first, but umpire pays the mark to Sharman. He goes out wide to Hall for another possession. Travalia, and now to Butler. Butler looking for a little bit of space to Windhager. Back to Butler, ran into a couple of Tigers, and one was Campbell, the other Houghton. He's going nowhere. Ball up to take place in front of the interchange benches. Umpire receives the footy, clears a path. McRae to Marshall. Marshall over the top to Garcia. There was a whistle. It's an advantage anyway. Butler takes it, looking for the hand pass. When the kick instead, high ball to the top of the square, drifting back. Miller did enough. Probably should have got the free kick. He did. So Miller receives it. The Richmond fullback goes short, across the face of goal to Traynor. And he finds the Richmond retiree, one of them at least, in Dion Prestia in the left back pocket.
He's going to go out on top in terms of disposals for Richmond. Prestia, 27 of them today. He's worked hard, as he has throughout his career, Tigers through Brown. Darts it inside the 50. Trevelyan came sprawling out after it. Lynch is there. Broad at full forward as well if the ball gets on the other side. Scooping up in defence. He's hasty for the Saints. Goes on a gallop through the defensive 50. Kicks a dangerous one looking for Boxall. Right there with him, Ralph Smith. Boxall fends off with power. Then tried to step around Ralph Smith. Second part didn't quite work as well as the first. Kick down the line though. Free kick. Going to Garcia, who was held onto by Sam Banks.
He's worked hard again, Garcia. This will be possession number 30 for him. 9 tackles, a goal.
110 between Garcia, Hall and Hill. So Hill's at 41, Hall's at 40, Garcia at 30. Long kick up the line, slapped down by Miller. And Curvis is swarmed in St Kilda jumpers. And we'll have a ball up. 14-10-94 the Saints, 6-9-45 Richmond. 28.5 gone, final term.
Tossed up. Now Windhager. Long high kick inside attacking 50 for the Saints. Trainer just missed it, lost it when it was hanging in the air. Luckily there was enough Tigers back. Hitchcock uses the 1-2 there. And the outlet kick. He finds Brown at left half back. Brown, who has got a long boot on him, changed his mind at the last moment, then kicked a high, meaningless ball out towards the boundary line and go out of bounds on the full. It'll be a ball in. It is out on the full. Odd decision there from Brown. Free kick going the way of the Saints on the Shane Warne wing.
Hasty infield. Broad made O'Connell earn it. One last desperate act from Nathan Broad. Maybe trying to get a goal as opposed to save one. Stationed up forward in these latter stages. McRae now for the Saints. So they're going to keep their faint wild card hopes alive. It could all be snuffed out tomorrow afternoon for the Saints if Carlton to win. But they've held up their end of the bargain thus far. As McRae pumps them to the edge of the 50. Mark taken by Nankervis. It goes back to Miller. Miller comes out to Ralph Smith, and can they go end to end here and get it to Nathan Broad, who's the deepest link in the chain? Ralph Smith's going to make a decent fist of it, kicks down the line. Lafau paid the mark, advantage taken by Brown. No, it's going to come back, and Lafau can pump it inside the 50.
One last chance for Nathan Broad. Can he get the mark? Spoiled away. Great spoil actually in the end. Oh, the fairy tale finish. It almost happened.
No sense of theatre by Jack Silva.
Not at all, but the story of the day, the Saints, who keep their season alive.
So marching in, oh how I want to be with St Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
So a big win for the Saints, 14-10-94, defeating the Tigers 6-9-45. The goal kickers, Mitch Owens was the story of the day with 5. 2 to Butler, 2 to Sharman, 1 each to Garcia, Hall, Higgins, Windhager and Marshall. Singles for Ross, Taranto, Lynch, Grill and 2 for Lafau for the Tigers.
Oh how I want to be with St Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
It's lovely seeing Jack Silvani and Broad after the siren there. I reckon he said, sorry, mate. Just to get one final flurry forward, and he looked good. It looked very much like it was on, but a good spoil from the reliable defender from the Saints.
Milestone man on milestone man, wasn't it?
It's fair to say the Richmond supporters are giving it to the umpires coming on. Now, the free kick count ended up 21-11. But those umpires are getting a fair old mouthful walking off the ground there, Joel.
Yeah, even though they've tossed a couple of sweatbands to a couple of kids hanging over the fence and that kind of thing. Yes, they are feeling the wrath of the supporters today. Career day for Mitch Owens with 5 goals. Brad Hill with the second best return of his career disposal-wise with 41. Max Hall with 40. So a few of the Saints went big today, as they did in a 49-point win. Adam Ramanauskas, and at least for now, it keeps their wildcard hopes alive.
Yeah, it does. And look, it was probably more a workmanlike performance, I think, today by the Saints. I thought Mitch Owens was terrific with his 5 goals. Hill and Max Hall, they ran their own show really through the middle of the ground. Hill played a little bit across half-back. Hall was predominantly in the middle or forward. The other one was Garcia, I thought was really good also in that game. He's had 39 tackles and a goal himself, so he really held his own through the midfield. We spoke before the game about sort of what Richmond need, and it's even more evident today against a team that's not playing or probably won't play in a final series, to be dominated like they were through the middle of the ground. So you throw in McRae, who's had 31 himself. They were just completely dominated. So Prestia, the retiring Prestia, was Richmond's highest possession winner today with 27 himself. Windhager did a really good job on Taranto for most of the day. It's just a nice moment, I think, here. St Kilda are lining up.
So all in front of the Richmond race. A lot of the faithful have walked down to the lower sections of the bowl. Dion Prestia and Nathan Broad speaking on the PA. We might take a little bit of this.
To do it with Nath is unbelievable. Couldn't ask for more.
Your own journey, obviously beginning at the Gold Coast Suns, 6 seasons there, but then coming to Richmond and the dynasty that follows. You are very much a Richmond man. What does this club mean to you?
Yeah, everything. It's everything I ever dreamt of coming here for the last 10 years. So 3 premierships is, unbelievable. But there's more the people you meet along the way. Like, the club is amazing and always have a connection. And, it's the people that you meet along the way, which I'll remember forever as well.
Some highs, but also some lows. You've had to be incredibly resilient. I think you've lost about 100 games to injuries over the journey. Plenty of soft tissues that I'm sure you're totally sick of talking about. How much strength of character did you have to have throughout?
Yeah, I apologise to the club for the $100,000 I've spent on our scans. But, yeah, I know it's just a part of the game. And, I was able to kind of come back and keep going. So, it's all a part of the footy.
Nathan, you arrived at the club as a mature age player and obviously the premiership success. What does this club, this ground and the yellow and black mean to you?
The club means everything to me. They're one of the only clubs that showed faith in me back then when I was a 22-year-old plumber. And like I've said before, I'm indebted to this club forever. And, we've had some amazing memories. And at the moment, we're in a little bit of in a tough spot, but I know the group's in an amazing position culturally, and they're on the right track, and I can't wait to sit up in the stands, enjoy a frothy and watch them win a flag.
Speaking of flags, you won 3 and you're actually the fastest person in AFL, VFL history to win 3 flags, just 70 games. I mean, to begin your career in such a whirlwind and obviously experience some pretty tricky times at the back end. I mean, it does show that football's such a roller coaster.
Yeah, you need a lot of luck in this game. Like you said, I missed 100 games of injury, and I have missed many, just very lucky. And I arrived here at a really good time, and I had amazing coaches that saw what I couldn't do and not what I could do, not what I couldn't do. And I'm so blessed for all those coaches along the way, and it's been a hell of a journey, and I'm so stoked I can end it out on the MCG in front of the Tiger Army with this bloke, because we've been through a lot together.
Some brilliant memories here at the MCG, but no goals at the home of football for you, and we were kind of cheering you on late, just hoping as you slipped forward, you're defensively minded for such a long time, but you did slip forward. It just didn't quite come off for you.
Yeah, where's Silvani? Where is he? Bloody come over and kill me, but nah. I was, try to sneak forward, try to snag a goal, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I couldn't kick any during my career, so why kick one today?
You've got lots of premiership teammates that have been here to support you guys. Just the bond you all have and will have forever, the reunions that will follow. I mean, this is a special group that's achieved something great in football.
Yeah, that's a lucky thing. We've got so many reunions to keep on ticking off. And, as Brody said, I think the most exciting thing would be sitting up here watching this group play finals and hopefully win a flag as well. So, we've done everything we can over our little journey. So, that'll be, I think, the best moment for us that we can have as well.
What's next for you, Dion?
We'll wait and see. It's a long break until the end of the season. So, we'll see how we go.
And Nathan, where will life take you from here?
Back to Western Australia, I've got a little 3-year-old daughter and a little man along the way now. So, family time for me. So head back to the West and enjoy some downtime and some sunshine.
The crowd here today, we're absolutely cheering you both on. Just a word on the Tiger Army and just the special connection you have with the yellow and black faithful.
Yeah, it's all you ever dreamed of, is playing in the G in front of a huge crowd. And, as I said, on Thursday, the Tiger Army made that dream come true. So to run out here in front of this crowd is always loud. So, it was always something that we'll remember.
It may well be one of the best songs in football when they yell at yellow and black. It's pretty special.
Yeah, why would you want to play for this club? You get to play every second week on this ground. You get an amazing crowd. We're the best club in the land. Our home ground's just a walk away, so where would you want to be? Nowhere else.
Congratulations to you both. Wonderful careers, so many great memories. Go and enjoy this with family and friends.
Big thanks to Fox Footy, as that one was beamed around the MCG. Sarah Jones chatting to Dion Prestia and Nathan Broad on the grounds, and being chaired off at the moment as well. Ben Miller and Toby Nankervis chairing Tom Lynch off. Nick Boston, Steely Green with Dion Prestia, Sally Lawler and Jaden Short chairing Nathan Broad off the ground. Of course, the Saints with a couple of former teammates of these two men as well, in Butler and Higgins. St Kilda doing their part by standing as part of that guard of honour. And Lynch playing game 250. And the retiring Tigers leading their team off the grounds, despite a 49-point victory, as now they go and celebrate with some friends and family as well. It is one part of the game, Rammer, that we pretty frequently get right, those kind of scenes.
Yeah, we do. And I think every player wants to have their moment where they can say goodbye at the end of their career. Some get it, some unfortunately don't, but the ones that do get it, and the way clubs do it, and the way I think opposition clubs also acknowledge those players, I think becomes really important as well. So, walking off the MCG for the last time will be emotional for Prestia and Nathan Broad. A lot of success here for the Tigers, and they should be incredibly proud of their career. Not many players do get to play in premierships. They got to play in 3. So, incredible record that they have, an incredible piece of Richmond history that they'll live with for a long time.
A couple of young Tigers will get to come in and fill their spots next week. So the Saints are the winners out of the day, and of course we've got North Melbourne and Geelong still to come. That's where we're sending most of our audience next, Brisbane and the Gold Coast, for our South Australian, West Australian audience. So the Saints, the winners out of the day. We'll get some reaction from their rooms shortly with Marnie. They're just handing out some footies before they head in. If they make the wild card, are they really a threat the way they're playing at the moment?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I think without Naz, it becomes incredibly hard. So now they say that hamstring looked pretty bad to me.
Yeah.
In last week's game. So I feel it will be good for him, because it was sort of, I think people will say, we've made a wild card, so there's progression in what they've done, but maybe they're just not quite ready for that yet. Carlton look like they're in much better form than St Kilda, and I think Carlton would be more of a threat.
Of course, Carlton getting the job done over the Saints last week, but the Saints doing it pretty nicely today by 49 points. They have filtered into the rooms. Brad Hill and Rowan Marshall among the last two head in for the song in the St Kilda rooms. Marnie Vinyl is down there. It was a workmanlike win, Marnie. What's the vibe like in the Saints room?
As you can imagine, the vibe is very high in here. Lots of smiles, there's a lot of friends and family here. And there's a lot of yelling, waiting for some of the older boys to get in the circle.
Yeah, Rowan Marshall is just, he's the last one in, and he is absolutely dawdling into the circle. There's not a lot of urgency about the big fella at the moment.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, I want to be in St Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be in St Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
Not their most stirring rendition, I think it's fair to say, but they got the job done today, the Saints, and until Carlton play the Western Bulldogs tomorrow, their destiny is still very much alive in terms of a potential post-season berth. Mitch Owens with 5. The Saints 94 beat Richmond 45. We brought you that AFLW score a couple of times. So North Melbourne trailed Geelong by a point at quarter time and beat them 100-27. So the final stages of that game, it was 13-1 after quarter time, and the two-time reigning premiers have won by 73 points over the Cats. Talia Randall starting the season with 3 goals, 3. Blaheem Bogue with 3 goals as well. Alice O'Loughlin with 2. Tess Craven with 2 for the Kangaroos. And Ash Riddell, just for a change, 35 disposals. Jazz Garner, 35 and a goal as well. So ridiculous numbers for the Kangaroos. Richmond and Collingwood still to come today. Gold Coast Suns, Western Bulldogs tomorrow. 4 games of AFLW action as well. In the men's competition, North and Geelong, the second leg of the doubleheader over at Docklands as well, is where we're sending most of our audience very soon. Brisbane and Gold Coast, you'll hear from former Kangaroos coach David Noble as part of our call team up there, alongside Brownlow medalist Jason Ackermanis, Quentin Hull and Michael Price. We're sending you to those 2 games in about 7.5 minutes, so we'll try and sneak some reaction out of the Saints rooms, who have just gone into a meeting. So Kel Wilkie to join us for Duration TBC on the other side of Ross Lyon, chatting to his team. What do you think the message from Ross would be in that room at the moment?
Oh, well, they got the win, so the pressure goes now back onto Carlton. Really, that's it's now at the part of the season for St Kilda. It's simply win and hopefully continue to progress. So next week has got some sort of meaning in that game. But look, I think mostly he will be happy. He's midfield dominated, he's defence dominated, so I think you're mostly happy. There was a bit scrappy in terms of disposal and the like, but late in the season, come to the MCG, just get the job done.
We've spoken a lot about Brad Hill today, but Max Hall, so 40 disposals, 12 score involvements, 10 inside 50s, a goal as well for Max Hall.
Yeah, I'm debating which way to go with my 3 votes at the moment. So I just thought he consistently throughout the game today, drove the ball forward. You mentioned the 10 inside 50s, the 12 score involved, the goal himself. There's plenty of it's a fair stat line by both of them. Like Brad Hill's had 36 uncontested possessions. What I like about it, they're true 40 possession games because there's no kick-ins in those stats for either one of those 2 players. So they just dominated. St Kilda's midfield really had their own football today. You look at the 4 of them in Hill, Hall, McRae, Garcia, and then you can throw even Windhager in there as well. Well, they're phenomenal numbers. And I mentioned later in that call about Richmond's defensive laps and transitions and the like. They need to go to work on that over the summer. And I know it's very hard to teach when you've got a lot of high draft picks in your team, and to make them respect the defensive side of the football when basically their whole junior career everything's been all out attack. But they're just going to continue to get results like they are if they're not prepared to do it. They're not prepared to teach it, not prepared to train it. Once you train it repetitively, you then start to play it.
And how important too is an uninterrupted pre-season for all those?
All of them, yeah, all of them. They've had so many injuries, the Tigers, over recent time. But to get full pre-seeds into it, starting to harden their bodies to play regular AFL senior football becomes important. Because when you see it in patches with the Tigers, little small patches here and there, but then it's just a drop-off. And it's a big drop. It's 20, 25 minutes of football where the drop-off comes.
We might expedite the votes just because we'll go into the Saints rounds shortly. So you're on the spot to get you that 3.
I gave 1 to Mitch Owens. I thought his 5 goals today. He was clearly the best forward on the ground. I thought he was terrific. I went 2 for Brad Hill. 41 possessions. 10 score involvements, but I went 3 for Max Hall. I just thought from a consistency point of view throughout the game, 12 score involvements, a goal himself, 40 possessions, 6 tackles. So probably a little bit more of a complete game there by Max Hall.
Great story, Max Hall. He was overlooked in a couple of drafts and worked hard, went through Box Hill, had a couple of injuries, and then found himself at the Saints in the mid-season draft in 2023. And 30 disposals and 2 goals, 3 last week. This week, 40 and a goal. So he just continues to impress.
He's a very good player, a very important player, because he's very much a forward of centre player, and he can find the football. So, I think St Kilda will be wrapped.
Hey, you're sticking around. So Hawthorn and Collingwood here at the G later tonight. What are you expecting there?
Look, I don't know if Hawthorn are in that good form like that. I know they obviously last week against Brisbane. You look at that game; they played poorly. But even before that, I don't think they're setting the world on fire. Like Connor Nash has been a big out for them because he's a bigger body through the midfielder that plays a defensive role. He's out now for the rest of the season. But I just feel like they're 1 or 2 midfielders short, the Hawks, at the moment. Like they're back half of the ground. Yep, that's always going to be okay with Barras and Battle and the like. The forward half of the ground, they sort of go through the talls. We know about Dylan Moore, we know about Connor McDonald, Nick Watson, etc. Just feel like through the middle that they're just lacking a little bit still. And the Pies, I don't know. I don't know if they're a good team or not, the Pies. I really don't. I really don't. Yeah. When they're playing excited, look, the reliance on Nick Dacos is enormous, and Josh even as well, if you want to throw him in there. So, Hawthorn tonight, do they put somebody to Nick Dacos, put the brakes on him? Because look, for Hawthorn, it's must win if they want top 4, obviously. Yep. So then we go from there. But I'm probably leaning towards. I think I'm leaning towards Collingwood.
Really?
Yeah.
They've been in decent form. Of course, the Hawks beaten comprehensively by Brisbane last night, and the Pies, last week, and the Pies, there's still potentially a chance of a top 6 if things break their way. So they are coming with a bullet toward the back end of this season. It looks like we'll just run out of time to head into the Saints' rooms and hear from them after their meeting. So about a minute until we send you in your various directions. Rama, great work from you this afternoon.
Well done.
Look forward to hearing more
tonight
from you a little bit later on. Thanks to Maisie. Thanks to Marnie Vinyl as well. In the rooms, we'll get an interview from the Saints rooms that we can send down the line to play on a little bit later on. For most of our audience, you're headed to North Melbourne and Geelong, where the Kangaroos have had a big win in the AFLW leg of a double-header there. Lauren Borden, Chris Rowbottom, Mick Malthouse, Brent Harvey and Ray Chamberlain, your team there. For our South Australian and West Australian audience, it's the Q Clash. Brisbane and the Gold Coast, Quentin Hull, Michael Price, David Noble and Jason Ackermanis is your call team there. You can hear all of that on ABC Listen, as well as the cricket. Australia 2 for 51 at tea, chasing a big total in deficit of Bangladesh. Here at the MCG, the Saints kept their finals and their postseason hopes alive with a 49-point win over the Tigers. Big day of footy still to come. Enjoy it all here on ABC Sports.